which really means on vacation. But he will be back tomorrow, I think, to start another streak of the three of us being together, at least for one day. So Riley Yauk is in again as his cousin sub of the day. Riley, good morning. How are you, young man?
Good morning, Jason. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm great. Can't wait for Will Riley, find out what a cool young fella does on his weekend. But from an undisclosed location, which is, at least at this point in the show, undisclosed because I see a picture of him, not video of him. So he must not be in his normal undisclosed location. He's the Packers Hall of Famer. It's Mark Tauscher. Tauscher, good morning. How are you and where are you?
How am I? Well, where am I? It's that time of the year. I'm up in Door County for the Boys and Girls Club golf outing extravaganza. So I'm up here in the great, I don't know, what is Door County? It's not the Great Northwoods. What is it really? The Great Peninsula? Is that what we would call it? That's where I'm at.
Anytime you can say the word peninsula, I'm excited. It's kind of like when Bulaga says especially. So you're playing, you're shaking hands and kissing babies.
No,
what
I'm
goes
golfing.
on at this?
No, I will be golfing. This is, I want to say I've probably done this now 10 or 11 years. So we had the little deal last night. It's always a pleasure. You know, Paul Kaufman's always up here and Jerry Kramer's always up here. And, there's always a good contingent of former Packers, but Jerry's always up. Dave Robinson's up here. And it's always great to be able to sit down. And even if it was, I think, 5 or 10 minutes to kind of chew the fat with Jerry, 88 years old, Jerry Kramer, he's still at these golf outings and just doing his thing. I could not be more impressed.
Yeah, he's obviously fantastic, and he's been a great friend to our show, and we're glad that he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. So does he grill you about the current team?
No.
He's just happy to see you?
No, it's just, I think for me, I'm always I ask questions. Like, I'm intrigued by how he's doing, how his health is, what he's up to, how he's still getting around, and he's still sharp as a tack, man. Like, his kid's up here with him, and he's going to go. I think he's going to go do some fishing later this week. He is. I think when you look at, how someone how someone has lived their life and what they've done, you can't be anything but incredibly impressed with how he goes about his business. He's an impressive young man, Jerry Kramer.
He is, and we love him on this show, so please give him my regards. Speaking of young people, are you the youngest former Packer there, or are there some that came after you in your career?
There'll be a few younger, but yeah, that's, I think, the hard thing with a lot of these outings, whether it's, I know Mason kind of has jumped in with the Lombardi Classic, and, there's 150 golf outings, and I think there's always that Lombardi Packer era. It seemed like was at every one, and as time continues to elapse, more and more guys are unable to make it. And now, I wouldn't say I'm the youngest, but I'm, as an older middle-aged dude, I'm definitely still one of the younger guys, if that makes any sense.
It does make sense. Well, I'm very curious to see who else is there. You can report back tomorrow after you get done playing. So we will get to our positives and negatives, which is what we do after games that do count in the standings, but we also do them after games that don't count. 844-770-3776. If you want to get in line for your positives and negatives, you can text or call on the talk and text line, 844-770-3776. Tausch, I can't remember. There have been multiple times during my career covering the team. I think Rodgers did it twice. Once on the third play from scrimmage. That might have been the training camp that you weren't back yet for because they hadn't realized that they needed you and not Alan Barber at right tackle. And then he did it again, maybe against Tennessee, where it was a first play. It was like a Friday afternoon game that they played in the preseason. But 3 plays for the offense, you good? You've seen what you need to see?
Yeah, I thought going in, prior to Jordan holding in and not practicing, I wasn't sure how much he was going to play. I was happy that they did play because I think one of the things that we don't take into account when Matt LaFleur made that decision to play his guys is your mind needs to be stimulated. And I think from a practice standpoint, you have to have an edge. And if you're not going to play in a preseason game or in an scrimmage or whatever they're doing out in Denver, I think a lot of times you kind of let your guard down a little bit and you don't practice and you don't get the same out of practice. So I love that. And I think the fact that you want to, reward your guys for being good. You can't just say play 10 snaps. I've never liked that because then it's guys are just going to count. Okay, 10th snap, we're out. Well, that never happens because if it's second down, you don't make a full hockey line shift. So I love the fact you can say, you know what, you're going to go out and you're going to play until we feel good about where you're at. And if that's 3 plays, great. If it's 7 plays, great. And I don't think you could feel better about where they're at than what we saw on Saturday. And it's the big explosive play. You got Jordan, you got everybody out there, you got them lathered up, you got them prepped, you went through the process, and you're looking for execution and building confidence. And I don't think anybody could say that when they got on that flight from Cleveland to head back to Green Bay, anybody was lacking any confidence, because just listening to fans and listening to some people up in Door County and everybody else, any of the Super Bowl talk that people are trying to squash, that is just like Bears fans are now thinking they're going to be Super Bowl champs because Caleb Williams looked good. Packer fans are looking at this saying, man, this is where we left off last year, and now our defense can even be better. The expectation game is going to continue to rise when you play a game and you have the snaps that you did and you execute it as well as you did on Saturday.
All right, so help me understand this, because you just said something that I think Matt LaFleur was emphasizing, and that was getting into the mindset of playing. And so, he even made the comment, I want to get everybody padded up. How much they'll play, we'll wait and see. Well, he says after the game, and we'll get into this further, that most of the starters are not going to play in Denver on Sunday. So he's already said that. But help me understand the value in going through the week, knowing you're playing, going through your game day, from waking up in the morning at the hotel to going through your process both away from the stadium and then once you get on the bus and go to the stadium. Like, I'm curious, because those are things that you don't do if you're not playing and you're not even bothering to dress. And it was almost as if LaFleur felt that was as important as running some vanilla plays on offense or defense and actually being in the football game. Is it possible that it's that important?
Well, I would say this. If you have a big test, you're going to prep and work and study. If it's the ACT and SAT, you're going to do everything you can because your future is going to depend on that. Well, if someone tells you, you know what, don't worry about the ACT, you have MCAT in 6 months that really matters. Okay, well, you're going to probably go through the motions, and some of the guys will still take it super serious and want to make sure that they're doing it. But most guys, if it doesn't count and you're not going to play, you're not going to have that same iron sharp focus that you're going to have if you have to play or if you're going to play. That's just human nature. That doesn't mean you should or you shouldn't. That's just how it goes. So for me, if we had 4 preseason games and we knew the 4th week we weren't playing, we were going to be doing scout squad, we're going to go work our scout squad. But then once that's over, you just take a deep breath, like, all right, now it's regular season time. You don't have that same level of focus that you do when you don't know how many reps you're going to play, but you're going to play. And so it's just like anything else. There's a sense of urgency when something is deadlined, or if something is, it's imminent and you have to be ready to go. So yes, there is a mindset that matters when it comes to you're going to play. You got to show your film. You're going to do this, and it's not the fact. Well, it's nobody's saying it's going to be the same as a regular season game, but that level of focus and intensity is so much higher when you know you're going to be playing compared to you're going to suit up, you're going to go through warm-ups, and you're done. It's just different, and I think that's what Matt LaFleur's talking about.
I think there were some times, though, where I don't know if I think Matt has done it as well, but I know McCarthy did, where he actually had guys dress, go through warm-ups, thinking they were going to play, and then they didn't. Yeah, so that's what you're talking about. Like even without the actual snaps on the field, that process is so valuable that it's worthwhile to kind of trick them into thinking they're playing, and then they don't.
It's not even really tricking. It's just keeping guys on edge. I think that's more because, as we all know, play not to get hurt, you're going to get injured. You can't. I don't care who you're playing against or when you're playing. There is no time to let up when you're on a football field. There's just not. And I think one of the things you always are worried about is, guys are going to, when they go out there to play, they're going to play. But when you're prepping for a game or you're getting ready, first off, you have to get that mindset trained. That's why you practice. That's why you try to make these practices as game-like as you can, because then when the game comes, it's a lot easier to transition to it. Mm-hmm. And when you know that there isn't an end point to it, are you going to stay as focused and as sharp if there's not that game or something that you're shooting for? And again, the answer is you hope yes, but the reality is you have 90 different dudes, 53 that will make the roster, and you have different mentalities on it, and you want to make it as laser sharp focused as you can. And the only way to do that is by saying, yeah, you're playing and you need to be ready to go. And if you're not, shame on you. I think that's what the bottom line in this was. So now whether or not guys are going to be as sharp going out to Denver, knowing that they're going to have these inter squad practices and things like that, that's great. That will be the simulated game that they would have gotten had they what we just saw last week. This is the same type of deal, but you're going against the ones, which is better. I think the way preseason is going, the simulation where you're going against one-on-ones, 1v1s, and your quarterback has got a red jersey on. I like that format better just because it keeps at least your star player hopefully going to be able to stay healthy.
Yeah, and at the same time, there was obviously a situation last week. It did not turn out to be serious, but the last practice of the week, Love did get knocked down, which is not supposed to happen during a practice, and he limped off. Turned out he was okay. He obviously played those 3 snaps, a handoff to Josh Jacobs, a 2-yard loss on a completion to Josh Jacobs, and then the 65-yard touchdown to Dontavion Wicks, who I do not believe will be getting traded for some who thought maybe that was going to occur. All right, we want to get to your positives and your negatives and to ours. 844-770-3776. I see Riley's already getting texts, including from Eric in Green Bay. And Cody in Pittsburgh, is that Jana's better half? Am I remembering that correctly? I think
so. I do believe so, yes.
Yeah, I believe so, too. All right, well, we will get to your positives and negatives after Tausch and Riley and I do ours. We'll do that coming up next. But it's always positives. Although I am missing the daily dad jokes from last week or last month's reads, it is always positive when it comes to Gina Della and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Well, how do you say welcome to your guests? Well, you say it with a new entry door from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. You know what else? Say it with a little color. The possibilities are endless thanks to Pella's custom colors. And you always say it with class. Pella's premium doors stand out due to their distinguished craftsmanship. And you know what? Let's say it with a great deal. And Gina called us last week. I thought, you know what? 0 interest for a couple of years with no money down. Great deal, right? No. Gina said, tell the people it's 5 years or 60 months, no money down and equal payments. 5 years with no interest, which is unbelievable. But hurry up. This offer does end at the end of this month. Certain restrictions do apply. Visit PellaWI.com today to learn more.
We'll get to our positives and negatives and then get to yours. 844-770-3776. We'll do it next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. Alex Strofe is Mr. Irrelevant.
If you're paying him, the expectations he should be one of the 5 or 10 best quarterbacks in the league all year long.
Tune into ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:30 for Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe.
So the national expectation is this guy is the real deal. And I believe that. But how real of a deal is he?
Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:30 on ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel. I've spent a while telling you about Mentality because it works. Not just for me, though. Take it from fellow Mentality user Jason. He's got a new lease on life thanks to Mentality.
Process was easy. It really, truly was. And the individuals that work at Mentality, very helpful, very respectful. It was an easy out. You go in a week after, they give you the results right away. And once you find that you're able to do it, just that thought, the energy already picked up a little bit. Most of it could have been mentally wise, but knowing that, hey, I get to start this, it was incredible.
Learn more today at LoTUSA.com.
With 18 unforgettable holes on 250 acres of natural private land, The Bog provides the ultimate golf experience. To book your next tee time, call 262-284-7075 or visit golfthebog.com. Enjoy golf. Enjoy The Bog.
It's time for the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirits deals in town. Located at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action.
Another series win for the Crew, who take 2 of 3 from the Reds over the weekend as they were in AmFam Field. And when it comes to big moments, Devin Williams getting his first save of the season, but it came after Rhys Hoskins lit the board.
And the pitch. Hit to left and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here and gone for Hoskins. And the Brewers have the lead.
A battle of first-place teams happens this week as it's the Dodgers in town for a 4-game set Monday through Thursday.
This has been the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
Looking for a better used car interest rate? At Ewald, we make it easy to save thousands during the used car rate reduction event. Get rates as low as 4.9% on Ewald Automotive Group's best used cars. 4.9% on over 600 vehicles at 10 locations. Increase your purchase power with a better used car from the name Milwaukee has trusted for 60 years. Don't wait. Get a better rate. Available to very well qualified customers. Up to $20,000 financed for up to 48 months. See dealer for details. Offer ends August 31st.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a generator from Adams, Wisconsin's #1 rated Generac dealer. Adams provides sales, installation, maintenance, and 24/7 service from all locations. Learn why Adams is your best choice in providing power peace of mind. Visit adamspower.com today.
Hi, it's Haley from the newest Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek. Come see me today. Haircuts are just $20. Lady Jane's, Oak Creek on Howell Ave, just south of Putes Road. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week, even Sundays. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Discover the difference at findhigherlove.com/CBD. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the only cultivator in the UP offering organic, clean, green certified products. That means quality you can trust every time. With 7 locations across the UP, including Menominee, Norway, and Ironwood, finding your higher love is easier than ever before. And for our friends in Green Bay, Higher Love is less than an hour away. Kindness starts with you. Experience Higher Love today. Visit findhigherlove.com/CBD and follow them on social media at Find Higher Love.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka produced in Austin, Texas, and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka.
844-770-3776. Text or call in your positives and negatives from the Packers' 23-10 win over the Browns to kick off preseason play. Tausch, I have some questions for you, but my first question, though, is what's your biggest positive?
Well, this isn't going to surprise you, but in watching from start to finish, whose roster looked better on Saturday? Like just from
Packers.
And now I want to make sure I'm prefacing this. I know Cleveland sat a lot of their guys, so I want to preface that. But
including Myles Garrett.
Yes, and Myles Garrett's a stud. But when I looked at how the game played out and what Lucas Van Ness did in his snaps and Devontae Wyatt, and you can go through all the wide receivers, your guy Dubois. Goody is my positive. And it's because the roster that is built, he's going to have some incredibly difficult decisions to make. And talent, there's talent at pretty much everywhere. And, there's still question marks, no doubt. But again, you can judge guys just off of who they play against when they play them. And I thought Green Bay's roster from top to bottom, especially of the guys that played, was just really good. So that's for me, the answer, and something that I definitely wanted to get out into the Packer universe, because I think people know, but I want to just make sure I remind some of the anti-Gutenites that you're not winning this battle. And then on the other side of it, it's hard for me to not get excited about this defense, and especially Lucas Van Ness. And if you want to, I said Wyatt already.
Wyatt for sure. Yes.
That, I think you look at it and you think, man, if this is how it's going to be, and you're not even really talking about Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, you have to be excited about what this defense could do. If those guys are as productive in the small sample size last week, let's just keep getting more and more opportunities. It was a great start, I think, for the interior group of pass rushers.
So when you say what you did about the Packers roster, which I agree with you, believe it or not, I am curious then, how much confidence does that give you that, because it's one thing to see guys that you think, okay, that guy's got talent in a preseason game when everything's vanilla and the chips aren't on the table. How much confidence does this give you? Because you were on a team that, while I don't know other than Jermichael Finley, if there was anybody that they lost that they absolutely positively could not live without in 2010, obviously they had Bulaga to step into your spot, for example. Does that give you confidence that this is a team that could, if it comes to this, and certainly you hope it doesn't, survive and still thrive if they have some bad luck injury-wise? Whereas there have been other teams that I think you have watched as an analyst and perhaps been on as a player where you thought, boy, if we lose a couple of guys, we're in trouble because this team is not very deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. And I think it is completely position specific because, let's be honest, in 2010, if something happened to Aaron Rodgers, we saw what happened when you went to Detroit and scored 3 points when he got concussed. So there's always a limit to that. I think offensive line-wise, that's the one spot that I think you really are going to be concerned if you lose a couple of guys, because for as much as I can credit, guys stepping up and doing a nice job, it's a different world when you got Myles Garrett coming at you than compared to, some undrafted dude out of Illinois. It's just a different world. So that's the one spot that I think, would jump out at you. And, I thought guys stepped in and did okay. I'll be looking forward to, looking at that a little bit more in depth. But as we're sitting here, I think you can look at wide receiver and say, man, they're so deep. How many guys are you going to keep? Because your guy had a good day. Bo Melton is somebody that I think people are high on, but where is he in this pecking?
He had a tough day, yes.
Yeah, and Tay Wicks, for as much as, he had the big play. We talked about him distinctly being at 4. Well, and he has this big play. So the depth there, you have to feel good. I think tight end, there's some guys that can play, and you don't even have Tucker Kraft back. So, yes, I think to answer your question, obviously if something happens to Jordan Love, it would not be a championship contender as we sit here. But for everybody that was down on Sean Clifford, my Steinhofer had a pretty good day last week, or on Saturday. So, yes, are they built? This is a deep, inexperienced, talented football team with a very deep roster, and we'll see how they match up against Denver. And if it's that same, boy, our guys are better than their guys, because that's how I felt Saturday. How we feel on watching Sunday, we'll see, but nothing is I'm not concerned. I think the depth of this football team, outside of a couple spots on the offensive line, I think you feel like there might be a little bit of a drop-off, but that's the beauty of this. Let these guys grow together. You're growing together, and there's going to always be 3-4 guys that are your field-tilting game changers that you can't lose. And as long as it's not a Rashawn Gary or an Xavier McKinney or Jordan Love, I think you're going to be able to overcome any of the other positions that maybe you'd lose a guy or two.
You mentioned Clifford, because I want to get to Riley's positives and negatives. How important was it? And by the way, and look, I don't know what Sean Payton's plans are, but I do think your hypothesis about how much talent they have and the depth that they have in this roster, that'll be tested a little bit when the number 2s of the Packers, if they go against the number 1s of the Broncos, right? If the Packers rest their starters and the Broncos play their starters, because if you're a backup and you have to go in the games that count, you're going to be playing against the starters for that opponent. So
correct.
I do think that'll be interesting. But what you saw from Clifford, because I was actually going to make him my positive, but since you mentioned him, I'll do something different. What did you think of him? Did he change your opinion at all? Because I had been a bit of a stand for him saying, I know he didn't start very well in camp, but I thought he really kind of picked things up after Jordan got in. I know he was going against 2s, but it was almost like he settled in and realized, okay, I got to stop pressing. I got to stop trying to be Jordan. And he had a better camp thereafter.
Well, I think that goes for every player. When you get thrust into a bigger role, that takes a little time to adjust to it, because it's different when the expectations changes. And then it also, it's different about who you're playing against. So I think from Sean Clifford's standpoint, you could look at this and say, all right, he went through a little bit. He was the starter. He's working with everybody. There's people looking at him and expecting things. And he's only in his second year. Jordan Love wasn't ready for it in his second year. You're expecting Sean Clifford to be? So I think that was just kind of unfair, and to just think that you're going to snap your fingers and he was going to be star-spangled dynamite. You hoped that he was going to have a good day. I think he did, and for everybody that was backup quarterback controversy, all this other stuff, I think he came in and did exactly what he was supposed to do, which is move his football team, get guys in the right positions and make plays when they were there. And I thought that's what he did a really nice job of Saturday.
Riley, what were your positives and negatives? Big opportunity for you here, especially after a less than stellar choice for your Steinhoffel sleeper of the week.
Yeah, that was really disappointing. I guess I can start with my negative, given that I picked Bo Melton as my Steinhoffel sleeper of the week. Yeah, that was a bad choice. He had
a bad day.
Yep. He had 3 drops, and then he fumbled the end around. That was the first play I watched. I was watching at a bar while the U.S. Olympic gold medal match was going on. And I remember turning to look at the Packers game right as Bo Melton fumbled. That was, just highly unfortunate. I think that's a pretty common negative I'm seeing in the talk and text line and on YouTube. Yeah,
Still
hopefully.
got 12 yards on that jet sweep, though.
That is
So
true. That is
glass
true.
half full.
Yep, you got to look at the positive side of the negative. But yeah, anyway, still 2 preseason games left. A lot of depth there, and I think Bo Melton could bounce back. I'm still on the Bo Melton train. Haven't hopped off yet, but we'll see. My positive, I have seen this a little bit on the talk and text line as well. Levi and Plover, I think we're on the same page here. Tausch, you've been talking about kicking a lot leading up to this and the kicking competition and how it's a zero-sum game. And if it's a zero-sum game, Anders Carlson did very well. He had a 46-yard field goal that he knocked through, a 33-yard field goal, and was perfect on his 1 extra point attempt. I think Anders Carlson, he snuck them in there. He snuck them in there. They weren't right down the middle, but Carlson was perfect. And I was happy to see that. Joseph also hit his extra point. I think Matt LaFleur in his post-game interview with Larry McCarron said that it doesn't make things any easier, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing right now. Very happy for both guys, but especially Anders, and I hope he continues to do well. Hope he wins the job.
Yeah, Joseph made a field goal too. They were both perfect, so there really wasn't, and they both seemed to kick off effectively with the new kickoff rule, which we'll talk about as well, because I don't think the Browns were intentionally kicking it into the end zone. Maybe they were. I'll have to look and see what Kevin Stefanski said after the game. But that did not seem to work. You put the ball at the 30-yard line on touchbacks on kickoffs now, and that gives you a big advantage as an offense. Well, I'm not very good on these Steinhoffel sleepers of the week. My history is checkered at best, but. Tausch, gave me a little bit of grief for picking my guy, Grant Dubose, who I had been touting and loving his story. But he went from being a guy who's got a good story to a guy who's got a good shot now, right? Like, he's had a really good camp, and then he took that from practice to the preseason game. Having seen guys have good camps or have good off seasons, they don't always carry it to the game. You had to be impressed by him too, right?
Yeah, I was. And I think, listening to you rave about him, you rave about a lot of guys, so I always take that with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But then Jordan Love's comments after the game I thought were really interesting. And it just makes you wonder, how many wideouts are they going to keep? Is it going to be
12?
6? Is it going to be 7? I don't think it'll get to 7, but
right.
I just see around the league, and I sent you guys the thing with the Eagles looking for depth and at wide receiver. And I always get a little bit, and this is where I think your Packer-centricness comes, where we think this guy's great. And, this guy, and I gave you grief last week about that. Mm-hmm. Because you said the same thing about what's the dude's name that was going to take driver's spot back in 11 or 10?
Torrey Gurley.
Torrey Gurley was going to be the next great thing. And it's like, well, it's because you see him every day and you think, well, he's really good. Well, maybe. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And in this case, you're talking about a 5th or 6th wideout. This is a tough group to break into. How many guys is Goody going to keep? And is there a possibility, when you look at this, is somebody going to come and wow you with one of your young 3 or 4, or with, one of these guys that's a bottom end that can get an opportunity as a 2 or 3 somewhere else? How do you go about approaching that? And I think old boy the other night is going to add to that pressure of what you're going to do, because you can have 6 or 7 wideouts on your roster, but you're already wondering who's going to be playing, who's going to be 3 and 4, and then 5, and realizing there's going to be injuries. How you balance that will be another fun thing to watch, how Brian Gutekunst approaches this, because I would bet most teams are looking at it and saying, boy, Green Bay's got a lot of young, good wideouts. Can we pry somebody out of there? Can we go get a Bo Melton? That's going to be one of the things that you're going to hear a lot of when teams are talking about adding wide receiver depth to their roster, because Green Bay obviously has it in droves.
So my negative, and this is why I think, at least in my opinion, everyone does this job differently, but this is why I think it's important to talk to people who know more than you do about certain things. Now, I'm still going to argue that when you're a big back, I would like to see you, even if it's not blocked very well, get 1 yard just by sheer power and ability to run over people. But it was, they had 2nd and short, 3rd and short, 4th and short. They went to A.J. Dillon all 3 times. I like A.J. Dillon, and I'm rooting for him. I made the comment after they drafted Marshawn Lloyd that I was a little bit worried based on his contract and based on the draft that there were no guarantees for A.J. Dillon to make this team. For all the raving I have done for how good he looks and how he's more explosive and seems quicker when he gets to the hole, there weren't any real great holes for him on those 3 plays, Tausch, but I would have liked to have seen, again, a big back who has lost weight, gained muscle, is in the best shape of his career, found a way to get a yard. Is it wrong for me to feel that way?
No, I don't think it is. And, obviously, Emmanuel had a monster day. He took a ton of carries. Unfortunate old Lloyd pulled a hammy. We don't know how long that's going to be. He's going to be out. But I think we're all expecting A.J. Dillon to be something that maybe he's not. Like A.J. Dillon, I think, is somebody who's been productive when everything is kind of set in the right circumstances. He's had some really good games, but I think this idea that he's John Riggins, it's not who he is. That's not where he lives. I think he's a lot better catching the ball out of the backfield than people think, and I still believe he's going to make this team. I think he's ingratiated himself well with the organization. I think he's a great team player. He obviously is a good dude, and he's doing all the right things. And I think he brings something to this team. It's just unfortunate, again, how overreactive we all are when it comes to preseason reps, because that's all you saw from him. And when that's all you saw, you're disappointed in the fact that he's not, Mike Allstott. I think that's because he's so big. That's what we all assume. That's not who he is. That's not where he lives. And if that's what your expectations are, you're going to be disappointed.
For those of you that feel like John Riggins is a J.R. Ewing style old school reference, so is Mike Allstott, but that was a good one. I get the John Riggins reference.
My point is, today's NFL, there are not a lot of hammers. Big, that's just not the way the league is going. And that's where A.J. Dillon's up against it.
You'd like him to be Derrick Henry.
Yeah, it would be great if he's Derrick Henry. He's not Derrick Henry.
He is not, although he did outplay Derrick Henry one time. I'm not trying to be overly critical. I understand the blocking wasn't great, but I don't think it's unfair of me to suggest that, it would be nice to see a bigger guy get that 1 yard. And we'll see I'm going to ask Matt LaFleur what he thought of those. Both in
Jason,
terms of
if final cuts are tomorrow, is A.J. Dillon on this team?
Oh, he definitely is. I mean, look, I don't know how serious this hamstring issue is for Marshawn Lloyd.
If you're going to keep 7 wideouts and 3 or 4 tight, there's number 82. Help me out on 82.
Joel Wilson.
Joel Wilson. Everybody was raving about Joel Wilson. Your guy, Chipotle Ben. He's out there. If you can't keep that's the thing. So how many guys are you going to keep? If you're keeping 6, maybe 7 wideouts, 4 or 5 tights, 9 or 10 offensive linemen, you're going to cut somewhere. Are you going to go to 2 or 3 backs? I mean, I think you have to have 3.
You have to have 3, right?
You have to have 3, but Lloyd's not. I mean, yeah, you're right. The injury and everything else, but A.J. Dillon would be one of those guys. I think it would behoove him to play really well the next 2 preseason
Couldn't
games.
agree more.
I do.
Couldn't agree more. Yep, you're right about that. All right, we'll get to your positives and negatives next. I know we've got some calls and lots of texts, including a clarification. Cody in Pittsburgh, not Jana's better half. That would be Colby in Pittsburgh. That would be Jana's better half. I knew it was close.
Yeah, who would know that we were out that big out of Pittsburgh?
Huge in Western Pennsylvania. All right, we'll get to your positives and negatives coming up next. Want to remind you, Paul and the girls have been gone. One of the few places I went when I did leave my basement while the girls have been gone on their trip was Fleet Farm. And Fleet Farm is giving you and me the best prices guaranteed. Any day, every day. Shop savings all across the store on your everyday essentials. And if you somehow find a lower price somewhere else, they will match it. Shop the best prices guaranteed today in-store or online at fleetfarm.com. And Fleet Farm's got comfortable and durable denim jeans for everyone in the family. And right now, you can get a free $25 gift card when you spend $100 on select jeans. Pick out your favorites and stay comfy year-round with the best denim jeans from Fleet Farm. Your positives, your negatives. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
An epic Brewers homestand kicks off August 9th, featuring a division duel against the Reds. First place battles with the Dodgers and Guardians, plus 3 giveaway games. Find the game for you at brewers.com/tickets.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Ortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sport called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
Solving your breathing triangle problem can lead to better sleep and a better quality of life. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
Packers preseason underway with a 23-10 victory in Cleveland over the Browns. And yes, Jordan Love did play. And yes, Jordan Love did put points on the board. A 65-yard touchdown pass to Ontavion Wicks in his single series. Matt LaFleur, though, afterwards, happy to see his guys out there.
I think it's always good just not only to obviously go out there and play, but just the preparation that it takes to get ready mentally to go play a game.
It's back to work now for the Pack, who will take on the Broncos in Denver next Sunday night in their second preseason game.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it. I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $8.95? Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds. $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Oh, baby! Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Some jewelers are charging nearly $5,000 for a lab-grown diamond. Not Robert Hack. Your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. But remember, before you do anything, as I did, RobertHackDiamonds.com. and visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
For general contest rules, visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
Wilde and Tauscher is presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka produced in Austin, Texas, and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Metaphysical man, but I know when the stars are aligned, you can't.
Let's get to your positives and negatives. Now, are you keeping an eye, Riley, on the YouTube comments?
Yes, I would say so. I haven't been putting them on the screen, but I am watching them. We got a lot of commenters on the YouTube stream, almost 300 viewers right now, which you love to see.
Jesse always says they're mean in there. Have you found that to be the case?
No one's been mean to me yet so far.
Well, it's still early.
Yeah, it is. We'll see what happens. A little mean to Anders, you could say. Maybe A.J. Dillon. They seem to be more focused on the Packers than my performance as producer today. So I'll take that.
All right. Well, I'm sure you'll incur their wrath at some point. Let's get to the phones first and take a call. Again, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. That is the talk and text line to chime in with your positives and negatives. Let's go to Jeff in Milwaukee. Jeff, thanks for holding on. Good morning. What do you got for your positives and your negatives?
Mike, I got two positives. One of them is kind of low-lying fruit. I get it. And that is Jordan Love. And it's not just the bomb that he threw that was perfectly in stride. Also, the swing pass that he threw prior to that was right where it needed to be. And if you think about a year ago, the two areas where he really struggled were the deep ball and those swing passes. And I know it's an N of 2, but it was still really nice to see. He stands back in the pocket. He's tall. He knows what he's doing. It was just really good to see that. I agree with everybody about Lucas Van Ness. You know, the guy, doesn't he remind you kind of, in terms of his build, of T.J. Watt? He kind of built just like him. I think that
they don't call him Hercules for nothing. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, he's built like him. Yeah, the downside, I know people have mentioned this, but, you know, A.J. Dillon, you know what? Obviously, you love the guy as a person, but his feet are not quick, and he doesn't see holes. And I obviously, you're rooting for him, but if Lloyd is not injured, if Lloyd can start the season, the only way they keep A.J. Dillon is if they keep four backs, because I think they got to keep Wilson. So yeah. I think that he's just, and it's always been his problem. His vision, it's like if something's not there, he can't make something out of it. He never has been able to. His feet, when you look at Wilson, how many times when he ran did he cut and move with his feet? They were quick and his vision is good. So that's it. Guys, it's great to be back, have you back, and the season's starting, and thanks for all your incredible work.
Thanks, Jeff. We appreciate the call. Tausch, I know you were a highly decorated ball carrier in your youth, but I'm not sure I'm ready to say that he doesn't see holes. I mean, I don't know how many holes there were. I thought it was more an issue, for me anyway, about not having the brute force to get 1 yard, even when it wasn't blocked well. I did not see a whole lot of huge holes that he missed that were there to be taken.
Yeah, well, short yardage, there's not going to be a ton of huge holes there.
Right.
They understand that they're, especially on fourth and short, it's going to get physical, it's going to get gnarly, and that's where you lean on a big back to, lower his pads, and John Reagan's it. Go find a way to get that. So I understand all the angst. The question's going to be, is A.J. Dillon, can he contribute on special teams? Because if he's not, that's when you start really, as a second or third back, and especially with the new kickoff rule, you wonder there. But I still just think it's going to take a lot to not have him on this roster, even with the disappointment that I think people are having with it. He's not costing a ton on the cap. Now, is there a way that, you as a veteran, you try and, keep him on practice squad and go not having him on the opening day roster because you owe him the full salary because he's vested? Those are all questions that may still come into play, but I'm just not going to overreact. He's been a good professional. He's been a good player for this team. He's done some really good things, but I just think everybody wants him to be a number one stalwart back. And he is, with very few exceptions, the Tennessee game a few years ago that you mentioned. Outside of that, he's a good, solid running back. He's not a home run hitter. And that's where Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones, and that's why we've all, kind of love that part of it. That's not who A.J. Dillon is. And when you keep asking him to be somebody he's not, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, and look, we use Eddie Lacy as an example of how the league comes at you fast. But if we're being fair, Eddie Lacy was not, he was kind of introverted, so he wasn't out there. You didn't see him as, becoming the mayor of Door County or whatever else. Eddie Lacy was a second-round pick, and he had 2 1,100-yard seasons as a running back. A.J. Dillon obviously had opportunities last year when Aaron Jones was hurt, and he averaged 3.4 yards per carry in the 6 games that he started in Aaron Jones's place. They're both second-round picks. Those are the expectations that come with picking a running back in the second round, and he has not met them, but that doesn't mean that you move on from him now. I do agree with you, though. I think you would like to, and I think the coaches would like to, and the personnel staff would like to, see him have 2 really productive games the next 2 weeks, just so they can say, all right, we legitimately need to keep him, and that's the smart move to make. All right, we'll get to more of your positives and negatives. I know we've gotten a ton of them on the text portion of the talk and text line. I am curious, Tausch, did you do prize picks for preseason football?
I didn't this week, but that doesn't mean I won't next week. Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do, pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends. Become part of the Prize Picks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. Preseason football is underway, but you can also pick more or less on 2024 season stats on Prize Picks. Patrick Mahomes, you're going to throw more or less than 4,300 yards. You got Jordan Love stats. You got Josh Jacobs. They got it all on Prize Picks. Download that Prize Picks app today. Use the code WI for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code WI on Prize Picks for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, run your game.
Ooh, that's a new tagline.
That's new.
I like it.
That's a new
tagline.
Tagline. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to get to the kickoff. I want to get after my good buddy, Dan Orlovsky, for something that's on ESPN.com today that I'm really struggling to understand. So we'll get to that in the 10 o'clock hour. But before we can do that, got to finish up the 9 o'clock hour. And we'll do that with some of your text messages of positives and negatives. Get Riley more involved. Get him riled up, if you will. Next, it's Wildy and Tausch.
This is Wildy and Tausch, brought to you. Wildy and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
I cannot imagine that there's any way that he missed the game because he's unhappy that the game was on turf. I think that's preposterous to me.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30.
I thought they looked great. I got to be honest, I think that's what I kind of expected from the Packers.
Presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Also sponsored by Construction Business Group and Island Resort and Casino.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Faith and Bigora, lads and lassies. Irish Fest is almost here. One of the great Milwaukee summer festivals. And we'd like to send you there. Compliments of Discount Liquor. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Purchase any 1 18-pack of Miller Lite, Draft, or 64, or Coors Light, and receive 1 free ticket to Irish Fest. But don't delay. Tickets go quickly, and I know you don't want to miss all the great Irish food and beverages. Visit us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Main in downtown Waukesha. Discount Liquor, voted best liquor store in Milwaukee again. See us this week for your free Irish Fest ticket.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Check out all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a generator from Adams, Wisconsin's #1 rated Generac dealer. Adams provides sales, installation, maintenance, and 24/7 service from all locations. Learn why Adams is your best choice in providing power peace of mind. Visit adamspower.com today.
Golfers, listen up. It's Gabe Neitzel from On the Tee, and we are heading to Scotland with our friends at Wisconsin Golf Trips. That's right, Scotland. You can join myself and Stephen Watson as we head overseas to play some of the best courses in the world. This package includes green fees, lodging, transportation, and more. But there are only a limited amount of spots available, so sign up now. For information on the trip and a link for paying, you can text GOLF right now to the ESPN Milwaukee Talk and Text line at 800-990-3776. That's GOLF to 800-990-3776.
Everybody knows, if it's summer season, it's festival season. And Potawatomi has the winningest one, WinFest. You could make it an awesome August with a share of $500,000. Play with your rewards card for entries. Hourly drawings every Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. $25 grand in cash and prizes each drawing. It's the $500,000 WinFest. Get in on the fun. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. More info at pacebig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust for Road America. The best place in Elkhart Lake is America's National Park of Speed. Make the most out of your summer at Road America. Come see a race at the legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road course that has hosted some of the best races since 1955. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Up next is the GT World Challenge August 16th through the 18th. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at wipga.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
He's got to get to the golf course for his event in Door County. I've got to get to Matt LaFleur and the assistant coaches, so I'm going to leave a little bit early, which means you're going to get lots more of Riley Yauk, which I think a lot more Riley, well, maybe not a lot more Riley, but a little bit more Riley would be a good thing. So let's give you a little bit of Riley.
A smidgen.
A smidge, a skosh.
It's another good word. Alrighty, so taking a look at the talk and text line first, I want to bring up a positive that I haven't seen anyone mention yet. Michael Pratt's lead block for Emmanuel Wilson, that was phenomenal. Yeah. I love that. Matt LaFleur probably hated it, but What a dog. And did you see Emmanuel Wilson's comment? Like, Pratt was yelling at him, like, outside, outside, outside. And then just lowered the boom. That was sick. Waiting for a comment on that. Nothing yet, so I had to bring it up. But
wait, before you move on, Tausch, what does that do for a quarterback when he does that, both in terms of how the coaches react and how his teammates react?
Well, as long as he doesn't separate a shoulder and miss 6 to 8 weeks, you are always looking for your quarterback to be relatable, to, you lead your football team but then, like Riley just said there, have a little dog in him. And I can remember a time with Favre, and everybody knew Favre had dog in him. That was never a question. It was always, we need to kind of harness him a little bit. But Alonzo Spellman, who was an Ohio State guy, he was playing, I think at the point where I was playing against him, I think he was with the Detroit Lions. And I just remember looking over, and he didn't play until the fourth quarter. We were ahead by a couple scores. And I just remember looking over, he put his hand in the dirt, and his arm looked like a leg. I legit looked like, holy blank.
Wow.
It is the biggest arms I've ever seen. And we run a little toss crack to the left side, and Amon Green busts it, and Favre just goes crazy trying to cut and starts dog cussing Alonzo Spellman out. And it was one of those cases where I'm sitting there thinking to myself, yo, Brett, chill. We're up 2-3 scores. I don't need Spellman to go crazy because the MVP quarterback is goading him on. But that was Brett. And so players eat it up, man. As long like it brings another level of juice when your quarterback gets out there and makes a play like that.
All right, Riley, what else you got, buddy?
Already, Geriad from Canton, Ohio. He's had a few good ones today. I really like this one. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Did anyone else think that Old T called it right again when Clifford threw the same pass a few plays in a row right over the wide receiver's head? ? May not have been, but almost looked intentional to set up a field goal.
It was intentional, right, Tausch? I mean, they wanted to make sure that they weren't going to have to kick off after kicking a field goal there, so they needed to use up the clock, and I think he didn't use up enough on the first play, so they had to do it again. And I saw Clifford talking to the official on his way to the bench before the kick, and I wonder if he threw just a little bit too high and that he might have been kind of on the borderline of an intentional grounding call, even though everyone knew what he was doing.
Yeah, that's always tricky, and that's one of the things that I'd like to continue to see, and I know Matt LaFleur, I'm sure, is practicing that clock management. Don't give the other team any time. Don't go up and I always am amazed at veteran quarterbacks that don't get that. I've seen it with other players where you end up sprinting up and spiking the ball. Take your time. Rodgers was always really good at understanding what you needed, how much time you left, and you don't want to give the other team any inkling or chance to do anything. So, yeah, that's all part of the process. And what's great about it, you see Sean Clifford doing it, but Jordan Love is going to be coached on that, making sure he understands that so that when these scenarios play out in real games, they can be executed.
All right, well, speaking of clock management, we need to get to the 10 o'clock hour. You made the trek to Door County. How many quick trips did you stop at, or did you wait until you say, got to Door County to stop? Because I know you've got that forward motion issue.
We did, and, we drove up the peninsula a bunch yesterday, and I made sure there was a couple other gas stations that we were thinking about putting gas in. No. Find a quick trip. There was one right in Sturgeon Bay. That's where we went. And you know what? In the summer, there's nothing quite like a stop at Quick Trip while I'm on the road getting an ice cold, refreshing drink like an ice cold Coke. And this summer just got a whole lot cooler with Quick Trip and Coca-Cola. Play the Coca-Cola Summer Cash Grab Pull Tab game daily this summer in your Quick Rewards app. You can enter into the weekly winner drawing where Quick Trip's giving away a total of $500K 10 weekly winners get $25,000 each, and one final week winner, that's what I'm waiting for, gets the $250,000 prize. $500,000 given away just for playing the Coca-Cola Summer Cash Grab Pull Tab game on the Quick Rewards app. You can even earn extra chances to win by using your Quick Rewards every time you purchase Coke, Monster Energy, Powerade, Body Armor, Smart Water, Core Power Elite products. Download the Quick Rewards app today. See quicktrip.com/sweepstakes for full details.
The 10 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at Right Choice Tax Resolution. April 15th has come and gone. Now the love letters from the IRS and state start coming. Those certified green envelopes seem to strike fear in the person or business that gets them. You may also be lucky enough to get a personal visit from a revenue officer if you owe a lot of money. If you get a letter or visit, contact us immediately. We can help. We don't make judgments about why you got a letter or visit. We just want to help you resolve your situation so you can get on with your life. Don't let your bank account get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security check get cut in half with garnishments, or a lien put on your house so you can't sell it or get refinanced. The state can even put a hold on your occupational license. Make the right choice and visit rightchoicetax.us today. Schedule a free meeting so we can talk and come up with a solution to solve your situation now. If you wait, it will not go away. That's rightchoicetax.us.
Derek Jeter for American Family Insurance.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they'll help protect your family's dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, future rocket scientist, we have liftoff, or a budding prima ballerina, you can count on an American Family Insurance agent to help you dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You've probably heard about employee stock ownership plans before, but what separates Fifth Third Bank from others when it comes to these plans? A succession plan that benefits business owners and employees. Full and partial sales, second stage transactions, repurchase obligation financing, and seller note refinancing, ESOPs can offer tax advantages, increased liquidity, employee incentives, and overall diversification of net worth to help your company plan for the future. Fifth Third Bank, National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. Kyle Bruston Nortman. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 10 o'clock hour, Wilde and Tausch begins now. All right, Tausch, I'm going to need you to help me here.
Okay.
Because I know that I'm not the biggest fan of Dan Orlovsky. You guys have him on whenever I take some time off. And again, I want to be clear. I think he does a very good job. My beef with him was that we had him on when he was doing like videos on Twitter breaking things down, and then he became a big deal and he never was returning our calls. But now he started to, at least when I'm not on the show. But he has a piece this morning on ESPN.com and ESPNWisconsin.com. And it's entitled Ranking NFL Quarterbacks by Trait. Best arm, accuracy, and more. Okay? So he has been a very vocal proponent of Jordan Love, right? Lavishing praise upon the Packers quarterback, correct?
He has, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go through the categories, and I'm going to ask you to help me understand the number of times Jordan Love is included versus the number of times he's not in his top 10 of a quality, okay? Arm strength. Jordan Love is not in his top 10. Ball placement. Jordan Love is not in his top 10. Mechanics. Jordan Love is not in his top 10. Decision-making with the football. Jordan Love is 6th. In front of him, Brock Purdy 5, C.J. Stroud 4, Burrow 3, Stafford 2, Rodgers 1. Pocket presence. Jordan Love is 7th. Rushing ability. Jordan Love is not in the top 10.
Okay.
So far he's been listed in 2 categories. Am I right? Second reaction ability. Jordan Love is 5th. I'm curious if you think that Jordan Love is so good and is a top 5 quarterback, then why is he not on more of your lists?
Well, I mean, there's also other quarterbacks. And, I think one of the things when you're doing national stuff is you're trying to, and I don't want to use the term appease, but you're trying to, limit, or if you feel really good about one guy, Dan Orlovsky feels really good about a lot of quarterbacks. And I think Jordan loves samples. Well, he does. He loves Matthew Stafford. He played with him. So he's got his own biases too. But I think most national analysts need to see more. They've seen glimpses of where Jordan Love's at. But I guess the question I have is, what is Jordan's number one attribute right now? If you were going to say he should be in the top 3 of this, what is it?
Before we do that, which is a great follow-up question, and that's what we're known for around here is follow-ups, or at least one of us is, and it's not me. Just out of curiosity, I wanted to do Brock Purdy's number of top 10s in his list because you and I are both skeptics on him. Fair? Like, good,
yes.
Surrounded by a lot of talent. Maybe it's unfair, especially for a guy who was a 7th-round pick, to be as dubious about another 7th-round pick as you are. But the bottom line is I'm with you. I want to see more.
No. My dubiousness isn't. I think Brock Purdy's a good NFL quarterback. Like, he's good. This crowning him MVP and everything else is where I pushed back.
Yeah,
I think Brock Purdy is a starting quarterback in the NFL. Is he as good as Jordan Love? He's not. Is he one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league? He's not. And again, you can only work with whom you have. But when he was called upon last year in 3 or 4 games, I think it was for sure 3, where Trent Williams was out and Debo was out. And I don't know if McCaffrey was still playing or he was dinged up.
4 picks.
Their offense stunk. And Jordan Love had to grow. And obviously he was better when his O-line was good. Quarterbacks are better when you have great players around him. That I don't know if that's a newsflash. But the great quarterbacks, the guys that Brock Purdy were being compared with last year, they make it that way. And I don't know if Brock Purdy will ever get there. Maybe he will. I know this. He ain't there now. That doesn't mean, and I'm not going to compare him to Tom Brady, but he's a late pick that's getting a lot of love. Tom Brady wasn't there when he first got going. It takes some time and confidence building to get there. And Brock Purdy ain't there yet. That's my point.
He is also not there on the arm strength list. He is 6th on the ball placement list, a list that Jordan Love was not on. He is 9th in mechanics, a list that Jordan Love was not on. He is 5th on the decision-making with the football, 1 step above Jordan Love. He is 6th in pocket presence, 1 step above Jordan Love. He is not on the rushing ability list, and he is 4th, 1 step above Jordan Love, in the second reaction ability list. So again, I ask you, it sure seems to me that if you put him higher than Jordan Love and on lists that Jordan Love isn't on, the reasonable conclusion to make from Dan Orlovsky's list is that he thinks Brock Purdy is better than Jordan Love. which you and I both disagree upon.
Yeah, we
Am
disagree.
I being unfair?
And by the way, I think Kyle Shanahan would disagree too. He wouldn't say that publicly. I think he likes Brock Purdy. But listen, man, everybody's got different tastes. Dan Orlovsky, I think, is looking for, the ball play, all this other stuff. Jordan Love is a better athlete. He's got a stronger arm, and I think he's a better all-around quarterback than Brock Purdy. You can say, well, Brock Purdy beat you, and they did. But there's a drop pick. There's always things that you could look at and deal with. And I would bet if you pulled 32 teams right now, all things equal, salary, everything else, Jordan Love or Brock Purdy, I would venture to say you get 30 of 32 teams back that would say Jordan Love. That's where I'm at. And I think the polling that's the way I think that would go.
All right, I want to get to the kicking game and what we learned, if anything, about Anders Carlson and Greg Joseph. We didn't learn anything about the skipper, Alex Hale, because he was the only player that dressed for the game that didn't get to play. So good thing I didn't pick him as my Steinhoffel sleeper of the week. Tausch, I'm guessing that Alex was standing on the sideline saying, "Pour me in, coach." And maybe he had a Tito's afterward when he didn't get in.
Potentially, he did. Tito's handmade vodka on game day. Pour me in, coach. From a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch. Root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. Stack a spicy Bloody Mary for your warm-up. Salt the rim of a Tito Rita during halftime, or take home the win with a Tito's in anything. Soda, cranberry. I like a little cranberry. I don't mind a little lemonade. Or you can do that water with a squeeze of lemon. You call the game. You can change up your roster or wash that lucky jersey as long as you make Tito's your first-round bottle pick. Whose house? Oh, it's Tito's house. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at Tito'sVodka.com, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Kind of like the little twist you put on that there. That was, it's Tito's house. Love it.
Twisty.
You're quite the twisty. All right, we will get to the kicking game and Tausch's impressions. I know you don't do impressions, but your thoughts on the kickoff and what you saw of that. That we will do next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Rick was at risk for a stroke, but now he's taking steps to reduce that risk. He checks his high blood pressure routinely to keep it under control. He exercises 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week to get his heart pumping. He also calls the Wisconsin Tobacco Quit line to help him manage his nicotine cravings. Did you know 80% of all strokes are preventable? Be like Rick and reduce your risk of stroke. Good job, Rick. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services Coverdale Stroke Program.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Fleet Farm's got everything for everyday life. But did you also know we have the best prices guaranteed every day? Pet food, wild bird food, automotive, hunting, fishing, farming, you name it. All your everyday essentials, all at the best prices guaranteed. And if you happen to find a lower price elsewhere, we'll match it. Any day, every day. Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life at the best prices guaranteed.
Hey guys, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel here to give you some advice. If you're making plans to propose to that special someone in your life, the Jewelry Center has to be your stop for the wedding. It's what I did. They're the best place to shop for diamond engagement rings in Milwaukee for a reason. I didn't know what to get, but with help of a Pinterest board, the Jewelry Center and their team of specialists took care of everything from start to finish. Naturally mined diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, whatever you're in the market for, when it comes to an engagement ring, the Jewelry Center has it. Find locations and inventory online at shoptjc.com.
An epic Brewers homestand kicks off August 9th, featuring a division duel against the Reds. First place battles with the Dodgers and Guardians, plus 3 giveaway games. Find the game for you at brewers.com/tickets.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Tri-City National Bank offers a full suite of personal and business banking products at 28 convenient locations. Open your account today at the community bank that was voted Milwaukee's best bank. Learn more at tcnb.com.
One preseason game, one series, one touchdown for Jordan Love in his preseason as second-year starter for the Green Bay Packers following his big extension coming a couple of weeks ago. Love certainly wasn't looking for any more work, just wanted to be efficient.
No, I liked it. I mean, that was the goal we wanted, was to go out there, get our series and put up points. And so I was happy with the way it went out.
Also getting in the game, Sean Clifford, the presumed backup, going 10 of 19 for 111 yards as the Packers start their preseason 1-0.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank.
Need to find that perfect home? Don't sell. Upgrade with a home equity loan. Renovate that kitchen. Retile that bath. You choose the fixtures. Let us do the math. Tri-City National Bank. Equal housing lender. NMLS 433891.
Wow, he just smashed it out of the park. Speaking of smashing, have you heard about Orange Smash?
Oh, you mean the Devil's Backbone Distilling Company canned cocktail? The one with real fruit juice, real vodka, and a splash of bubbles? It's a home run in a can.
It's the perfect drink for game day, whether you're tailgating at the ballpark or watching from home.
Find Orange Smash canned cocktails at Woodman's, Festival Food, or Pick and Save. Visit drinkasmash.com to learn more. Remember, always enjoy responsibly.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
You can hurt me tomorrow. You can hurt me, 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 you can hurt me.
We're going to get old boy to the golf course. And we'll play a little trivia while he makes that commute. But before we can do that, Tausch, again, I saw it on family night from 7 floors up. Saw it on television on Saturday. These kickoffs are going to take some getting used to. It just looks so different. And I can't figure out what the best strategy is. But the good news is I'm not the only one, because it seems like NFL special teams coaches are having the same issue. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and I think my question is, what are the chances that they wipe this out and go back to normal by regular season? Is there a chance? Because you said this, and this has really rung true for me in saying the UFL/XFL/USFL, I think it was the USFL, maybe it was the XFL, implemented this.
XFL.
And when they all the XFL, when they all unified, they all said, nah, it's not worth it. It didn't bring anything extra to the game. And I think the reason the NFL is doing this is not because of player safety. Let's not kid ourselves on that. That's going to be something that they'll say. The reason they're saying is because scoring was down last year. And someone mentioned this the other day, like the 30-yard line, Mike Ayers, our old analytics dude. No, I know the Packers have a bunch of people that are doing this. Mm-hmm. Your chances of scoring, if you go from the 20 to the 25 or the 25 to the 30, it goes up somewhere between 5 to 6%, which you don't think is a big deal, but over over all these games, the NFL wants more points. They want more offense. And the best way to do that is by giving better field position to start.
No doubt.
And this kickoff rule is all about that. It looks clunky. I think players, you willy-nilly just kind of threw this at coaches. I don't know how much foresight or questions you took and input you took from all of these special teams coaches. I don't think a ton. And I just wonder if they did this with the extra point a few years ago. I think that's been a success. Is this going to be successful? I think for the cause of what they're asking, it will. It's going to have more kickoff returns. So the question I just keep coming back to, why did they, this play was too dangerous to do. And now you can't onside kick. You have to announce and do all this other stuff and be behind. And I just wonder if at some point they're going to say, the UFL, this isn't even good enough for the UFL, and we're going to keep doing it. So I hope that's what they do, but I'm an old, stodgy, let's not change things that are working. I didn't think it was that big a deal, but I think the fact that you're going to see scoring up in the preseason is going to probably swing this thing, that they're going to continue to do it. And the fact that there's going to be added strategy and added things that, bring more excitement to it, the NFL's on it. And so that's kind of where my head's at. I don't like it, but I understand why they're doing it.
So again, their argument was that the kickoff return had become a non-play, no action.
That's what they wanted, though.
They had a Super Bowl where it was like what the extra point used to be when it was so short. They wanted these plays that were kind of predetermined outcomes to no longer be that, while also making it safer than, our guy Tony Palmer, who was injured on a kickoff return, and all those kinds of issues that were there when there was a wedge and a wedge buster and everything else. And so that's why this is what they came up with. Again, I also think it appears from what I saw anecdotally, it's not easy. It's kind of like trying to hit a lob wedge in golf, and you don't want to hit it. You don't want to fly the green, and you don't want to come up short of the green. And these kickers, it's going to take a while for them to calibrate how to have it land where they want it to land, because they're certainly not swinging away like they would have when they were kicking it out of the back of the end zone. So I'm with you. I don't know what it's going to end up looking like, but they want it to be a competitive play. They want returns, but they want to try and mitigate the danger of those returns. That's their philosophy.
Yeah, and I think they want all that, but what they really want is more scoring. And this will help them get that. There's no doubt, because I think you're going to see a lot of ball. You're not going to see many balls inside the 20-yard line anymore. You're going to see most returns starting 30+, and when you do that, the odds of scoring go up that much higher. And when it comes to gambling and fantasy sports, which is what has driven this game to the unparalleled success that it's at, they want more, and that's why they're doing this. Don't try to twist it and say there's any other reason why they're doing it, because I got a hard time buying it.
What you don't have a hard time buying is how you can make some extra cash by doing one of Fortria's many great trials.
Yeah, I talk a lot about the trials for the heavier set, fellas. Just trials all over the place. Head to FortriaClinicalTrials.com. And if you're looking for a little extra spending cash, you want to get to a Packers game, you want to get to a Badgers game, you want to get out to the Badgers hoops, Marquette, whatever it might be, Fortria's got you covered. Healthy adults, ages 18 to 60, BMI 18 to 32. Study 2 stays totaling 15 nights, 7 follow-ups, $13,820 for your time and participation. Head to FortriaClinicalTrials.com. That's Fortria, Fortrea, clinicaltrials.com.
All right, we say a brief farewell to Tausch as he gets out to the big event in Door County to support the Boys and Girls Club. He will rejoin us a little bit later in the program. While he is gone, we will play some trivia. Riley, You handled trivia on Friday. There was not necessarily harsh critique, but
There's some mild critique, yeah.
Critique. Were you tied into Jesse's Sports Weekend recap as a category, or were you able to choose whatever you wanted since it is your day to be the producer? How did that play out?
Yeah, it is my day, but I figured we'd stick with tradition here. I did go with the Sports Weekend recap, and a lot happened this weekend with the Olympics, and you had preseason starting. The Brewers were on a tear, so I thought it was a solid category still.
All right, well, we will play that. There were 40 gold medals won by the United States. There were also 40 gold medals won by China. So they ended up tied in terms of gold medals. I'm not going to ask you to take caller 40. I would not do that to you. Maybe someday, but not yet. So let's just do caller 4 instead. Caller 4, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 4 will play the Sports Weekend Recap Trivia. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You've heard me talk about the results mentality has had on my life, but don't just take it from me. Jason has had success too, thanks to mentality.
My only regret is I didn't do it sooner. Knowing once again I've gotten the treatments done and continuing, I do feel, stuff does hurt a little bit more, but I'm 40, in my 40s, and that's going to happen. But again, the energy levels, it is above and beyond. Again, I'm back in that age where I'm like, this is amazing.
Get started today at lowtusa.com.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, I'm Jeff Levering alongside Gina Della from Pella.
Thanks, Jeff. How do you say welcome?
With a new entry door from Pella.
Say it with color.
Like baseball bat oak or foul pole yellow?
Say it with class.
Like following players' unwritten baseball rules.
With clarity.
Like a no-doubter shot off the scoreboard.
And with this great deal, 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down in equal payments.
That's the ball game. A Pella walk-off.
Schedule your free and home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See 31/2024.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-608-0955. 800-608-0955. 800-608-0955.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Racing fans, this summer make your way to Elkhart Lake's Road America. Hear from driver Ryan Eversley on what makes Road America special.
You go down to turn 5 and there's like just crowds of people right there, which is very close to where the trailers are for a lot of the race teams. So I try to pop down there and see a bunch of fans every year. Even if you go there on a club racing weekend, which isn't like a big turnout for fans, there's still people camping and enjoying it. And so I try to make the rounds, especially at Road America, because I've had such good support there that I go out of my way. So the place means a lot to me off the track as much as it does on the track. Like, I've already got my week scheduled. I know I'm flying in on Wednesday. I'm immediately stopping at Cops in Milwaukee to get some custard and a cheeseburger. I'm going to get Spotted Cow beer, from New Glarus as soon as I can, and take some back with me home. It's not just a race for me. Going to Road America is like a vacation trip almost.
Find schedule and ticket info today at roadamerica.com.
Finally, warmer weather, green grass, birds chirping. Don't spend your weekend surrounded by all that junk. Get your free, no obligation, same-day estimate from Two Men and a Junk Truck. You'll restore your sanity and reclaim your space when Two Men and a Junk Truck pulls in your driveway. Visit twomenandajuncktruck.com for your free, no obligation estimate today.
Keep what you love, ditch what you don't.
Is your business looking for localized banking solutions and a strategic partner? Fifth Third Bank has been looking forward to the future and helping businesses shape what's next for 165 years and for the last 15 here in Milwaukee. They offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making capabilities, and extensive experience to help navigate the complexities of a constantly changing business market environment. With your business in mind, commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
I'm coming back on top. And
that was a long delay. So last week, I think it was last week, training camp, all the weeks run together. But last week, I was making the trek down to practice, and I missed trivia, because that's usually when we do trivia, is when I'm on my way down to Radnitschke Field. And Dan in Brothertown was the contestant. And I was listening, because I kept it on as I was walking, but I was disappointed because I really wanted to discuss with Dan Green Bay Phoenix women's basketball. Because, Dan, good morning. First of all, how are you?
Good, Jason. How are you today, man?
I'm great, but I'm even better because I don't know if we've actually gotten to talk since your daughter became the UW Green Bay women's basketball coach, and you went from being Coyote Dan, or whatever we were calling you, to what are you now? Like Rise With Us Dan? Phoenix Dan? What are you exactly?
I'm just a big Phoenix fan, and by the way, she's my daughter-in-law. She's married to my son.
Oh, daughter-in-law.
That's correct.
Well, at least I know your last name now. All right. Well,
Yes,
we're
do.
excited for her, and we're excited for you to play trivia. The Sports Weekend Recap is the category. Question number 1 is this. The 2024 Paris Olympic Games officially ended last night. I know Riley enjoyed the interpretive dance that they did with the guy in the yellow and raising the rings and everything else. Which city will host the 2028 Summer Olympic Games when they come to the United States? Which city will be the host of the 2028 Summer Olympic Games? Will it be Los Angeles, New York, or Green Bay, with my basement serving as the breakdancing venue?
Oh, my God, I missed that. I'm going to say Los Angeles. There we go.
Los Angeles is correct. You're 1 for 1. Nicely done. All right, question 2. I have not been following this. I knew they had a win streak going. I don't know how long it was, though, so we'll learn this one together, potentially. The Brewers lost to the Reds yesterday afternoon by a score of 4-3, snapping a win streak of how many games for Milwaukee? Was it an 8-game winning streak, a 3-game winning streak, or a 5-game winning streak?
That was 5 games.
Swept the Braves, won the first 2 against the Reds, and then lost yesterday. You are correct, Dan. All right, question 3. Only 6 players have ever won an NBA title and a gold medal in the same year going into the 2024 Olympics. How many players were added to the list after the United States defeated France on Saturday? How many players now have won an NBA title and a gold medal in the same year? And how many were added to that list Saturday? Was it one player was added, two players were added, or three?
That was two players added.
Indeed, Jason Tatum and Derek White. Drew Holiday won a gold, I guess it would have been in 2021, technically, right, in Tokyo, since they pushed those back by a year.
Yep.
After he won the title with the Bucks.
Yep.
Nicely done. Well, we're off to a perfect week, other than me thinking that Kayla was your daughter, not your daughter-in-law. So you have 4 entries into our drawing on Friday. Riley remembered to do it this past Friday. We'll see if Jesse remembers or if Jesse's even working on Friday coming up later in the week. Dan, thanks for playing. We appreciate you.
Hey, Jason, did your daughter by chance go to basketball camp for Kayla?
They had it earlier than we had anticipated since they were transitioning coaching staffs. So she did not go. She will go next year for sure, though. She was bummed that she missed it. But yes, we were. I was corresponding with Kayla, so I was disappointed she didn't get to go. All right, buddy. We appreciate you. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, we'll catch you at a game.
Yes, you definitely will. All right, that's Wilde and Tausch trivia. Dan gets all 3 right. He's got 4 entries into the drawing. Riley, you asked a lot of Olympic questions.
That I did. Your audio just cut out for some reason. Is that on your end or is that my mistake? Well, I guess we're experiencing some technical difficulties. See if we can figure this out ASAP.
I'm back.
Oh, he's back. He's back. That's huge.
So apparently, when spam people call you when you're in the middle of doing a radio show from your phone device, it knocks you off the air, which
oh wow. Okay.
I don't know how I can prevent that. I figured out how to solve the internet problem, but I apparently have not figured out how to solve the connectivity problem when somebody calls me. So the 715 number that was spamming me, don't call again. So I'm sorry. Did you, since I lost you, did you watch the close? I really enjoyed it. And I think I have a new band that I like in this band, Phoenix, not to be confused with the Green Bay Phoenix that played the show last night. Did you watch it all?
Watch which show last night? Oh, the closing ceremony? No, I just saw the one clip of Tom Cruise jumping off the roof. Yeah, that was all I saw from the closing ceremony. I didn't really pay attention to that. I don't think I watched any of the Olympics yesterday.
Well, there were some pretty important games that were played before the closing ceremonies, but
I watched the women's basketball team win gold. That was fun too.
There you go.
There we go. I just forgot that was in the morning.
Yeah, well, you're a little frazzled because for a minute there you were the only one on the show.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
I do want to get to a couple of questions that you had based on Saturday's game that I will try to answer. We'll do that coming up next. Want to remind you that if you haven't made the switch to Associated Bank, what are you waiting for? I've given you all kinds of reasons for a very long time, and I will continue to give them to you. Of course, first of all, if you're a Packers fan, no better place to be. Packers checking, get your Packers debit MasterCard. You get 10% off the Packers Pro Shop, both in-store and online, and you get to show your true colors with your Packers check. Secondly, it's early pay, which if you have direct deposit from your employer, you can get access to your money up to 2 days early, and you never know when you're going to need that opportunity. And, of course, the best customer service in the industry. They've got the awards to prove it. They've won J.D. Power Awards. They've won other awards. They're the best. There's no doubt about it, and they've got all those trophies in their trophy case to show it. So go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. Riley and I talk a little more about the preseason opener, and then we'll be rejoined by Old T during the 11 o'clock hour. So stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
You would vote the opening of the show should be Brett Favre as an alien.
If a guy wrote a song for me, it would probably be my opening.
All right.
That's just me.
Well, but how many other people do you think have written a song for me?
None.
Pebble, what's your vote?
I will say 0 as well.
You guys are so mean and accurate.
All right, thank you.
The Homer Hour with Homer. Weekdays from 5 to 6. Right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
I was stuffed up. It was almost like someone put a clothespin over my nose. As an athlete, it did affect my performance. And as I got older, the congestion and poor sleep really took their toll.
Mike's a lifetime athlete. After hearing about Advent, he felt he could finally find a solution to his breathing triangle problems.
With my congestion, the kind of sleep I was getting wasn't allowing me to function the way I wanted to.
When your nose isn't working like it should be, it's going to negatively affect your sleep. And then you really can't be at your best at anything that you're doing.
It's been about 5 years since coming to Advent, and what balloon sinuplasty did for my quality of life, that step I took was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Balloon sinuplasty can help solve your breathing triangle problems, which will help you sleep better. And that's going to help you live a better quality of life.
Unlock your potential. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
The Island Resort and Casino is the Midwest's premier resort destination, giving guests the total experience with a luxury hotel, full-service spa, live lounge and headline entertainment, multiple dining options, and more, all surrounding a lively Vegas-style casino. And atop many a golfer's bucket list are the island's 2 championship courses, Sweetgrass and Sage Run. When we say your total experience, we mean it. Plan your getaway today at islandresortandcasino.com.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it. I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $8.95? Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds. $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Oh, baby! Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Some jewelers are charging nearly $5,000 for a lab-grown diamond. Not Robert Hack. Your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. But remember, before you do anything, as I did, RobertHackDiamonds.com, and visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
Create the deck of your dreams now at Menards. Spend less time maintaining your deck and more time enjoying it with Ultra Deck low-maintenance composite decking from Menards. It's easy to install and built to last. Plus, get free estimates fast with our deck design program in-store and on Menards.com. Save big on Ultra Deck and check out more great deals happening now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka produced in Austin, Texas, and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka.
I said go, baby, go, go, go. I've been to a place where the drifters go. It brought me trouble, yeah, it brought me low. Time was flying, but I was rooted in my blues.
Old Boy will rejoin us here in a little while. In the meantime, that's catchy. Riley Riley and I are holding down the fort.
Whoop, whoop.
Riley, did you or did any of our texters or YouTube commenters have questions that jumped out at you from the game on Saturday?
So I have a question. Going into this game, everyone was talking about the defense and what that would look like. I understand it was a very sort of vanilla, basic defense. I know Matt LaFleur said Hafley's call sheet was very limited. But what did you glean from the first preseason game about this new look defense from the Packers?
So I want to get Tauscher's thoughts on this when he returns to the program. But I would say this. I thought for all the advanced billing of how aggressive this defense was going to be, I thought we saw proof of it. I thought we saw Devontae Wyatt on back-to-back plays generating quarterback pressures. Now, again, I don't know how good that offensive line was that the Browns trotted out there. I know they didn't start some of their best guys. I know they lost a guy to looked like a knee or an ankle injury, and then traded for a new center from Seattle. So they clearly are going to be missing that dude for a while. So I don't know how good the competition level was. I say that to preface this. It looked exactly like we were being told it was going to look. They got out. They were aggressive up the field. We saw Lucas Van Ness have one sack and almost have another one. I mentioned the Devontae Wyatt pressures that he had, one that led to a sack by LVN. So I thought that was really noticeable. I thought Kalen King, the 7th-round pick, who we kind of feel like has a pretty bright future, him and Carrington Valentine from a year ago.
Yeah, shout out Marty from the Port for also being a big fan of Kalen King. That was his positive for today. I think he could be a draft steal.
Yes, and if you end up with two corners that can play out of the 7th round each of the last 2 years in Carrington Valentine, who's been sidelined by a hamstring injury, and Kalen King, that's pretty darn good. And it's another example of Goody's really strong drafts in recent years. So I liked what I saw from him. I thought Robert Rochelle the musical, which is a Seinfeld reference that you won't get because you're not old like us.
Yeah, sorry. Never watched Seinfeld.
Right. Indeed. But the fact that he's a special teams guy and then also played well at corner, I thought was interesting. And then obviously the safety spot, right? I mean, we saw Xavier McKinney for a little while. We probably won't see him again, at least not this week, according to what Matt LaFleur said. But I thought we saw some glimpses of what they have at the safety position. They started Javon Bullard, then Evan Williams came in. He had that tackle of the guy near the sideline where the guy landed, his helmet came off, and then the guy's butt landed on his head. That seemed painful to me.
Yeah, I watched a little compilation. Someone just spliced together all of Evan Williams' highlights from the day, and that one, those kind of tackles always make you grimace a little bit.
I don't know if the guy was actually down by contact, if his knee hit after his butt landed on Evan's head, because I guess he wouldn't have been down at that point.
I know in the moment when I was watching at the bar, it looked like he wasn't down, but I think if you slow it down, he just kind of grazes. His knee just grazes
and then he steps out of bounds anyway.
Yeah, oh, okay, yeah.
But he had, Evan Williams forced a fumble. He's had 4 interceptions in practice, so he has a knack. And again, he draws that comparison to, in my mind anyway, Micah Hyde, who was another day 3 draft pick who played safety in college at Iowa and turned out to be a really, really good football player for them. We'll see if Evan Williams has a similar career. That's pretty high praise for me to be putting on him.
Yeah.
But they've got some options at safety, which I think is really, really encouraging. I also, and we'll ask Matt LaFleur this coming up in a little less than an hour, but, they didn't have either of their inside linebackers that they drafted available to them. Edgerrin Cooper, the 2nd-round pick, was out with a hip injury, and the 3rd-round pick, Tyron Hopper, was out. I think his was an ankle. So you didn't get to see either one of those guys, which I think people like you and others were really eager to see them. They're pretty high day 2 picks that you were expecting to be involved, and who knows when they'll be back healthy enough to practice.
Yeah, I saw the Packers scratch list, and that was a little disappointing. Was looking forward to seeing those guys. But I have a question here, switching over to the offensive side of the ball from Chef Ed. He had as his negative that Love seems to have a hard time with the short pass in the flat. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with Chef Ed on this one? I'll be honest. I don't remember Love's first 2 pass attempts.
Yeah, he only had 2. One was the touchdown, and one was a throw to Josh Jacobs in the flat for a 2-yard loss. Now, we heard Jeff call in earlier who said that it was right where it needed to be. I'm with you. I don't really remember that. I'll have to go back and look at it on NFL Plus. But I certainly remember the next pass. That one I do remember. And it looked like they got Wicks matched up on a safety. He beat him with a really good route, and then it almost looked like the guy it was 33 for them.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like he was like grabbing at his hamstring. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Do you fake that when he's running away from you? Oh, my hamstring.
It's like when the wide receiver drops the ball or the QB overthrows it and they start freaking out, throw up the X, the box, whatever. They start celebrating like crazy. You get beat. Yeah, it was my hammy. Pulled my hammy.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the issue, but certainly he got cooked on that play. But no, I don't. I'll have to go back and look at it. I don't remember vividly enough how good or not good of it. It was for a 2-yard loss, so the play didn't work, obviously. And I think Josh Jacobs had a 7-yard run on the very first play from scrimmage. So we'll get to more of the YouTube comments and your text messages. We got a lot of positives and negatives texted in early in the show, and then we kind of meandered about
kind of fell
thereafter.
off.
Well, the show went in a variety of different directions, to be fair. So, all right, we'll get to that. Old Boy's going to rejoin us, hopefully, up in Door County. Can't believe he drove right through town, didn't even stop by to say hi. We will talk to him, hopefully, during the 11 o'clock hour, and that will start in 2 minutes. So stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
Packers preseason underway with a 23-10 victory in Cleveland over the Browns. And yes, Jordan Love did play. And yes, Jordan Love did put points on the board. A 65-yard touchdown pass on Tavion Wicks in his single series. Matt LaFleur, though, afterwards, happy to see his guys out there.
I think it's always good just not only to obviously go out there and play, but just the preparation that it takes to get ready mentally to go play a game.
It's back to work now for the Pack, who will take on the Broncos in Denver next Sunday night in their second preseason game.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
Pain from arthritis is just awful. Bone on bone, constant pain. It robs you of so much of the things that you love to do. But there are effective ways to deal with that pain. I'm not talking about drugs or surgery. Hey, this is Brad Nortman. There are new cellular therapies that can get you lasting relief. The place to go? QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your body's own healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. If you're living with chronic pain from arthritis or injury, you need to know that steroids and surgeries and pain pills are no longer your only option. Learn how QC Kinetics can use advanced regenerative medicine to treat the pain, enhance your joints, restore mobility, and give you long-term relief with no downtime. QC Kinetics is ready to help you get your life back. This is the future of medicine. Call for a free consultation. 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Or Metro
11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. Tausch, welcome back. First of all, how you doing?
I'm good. That was one of the funniest sports centers I've ever heard. Riley gives an update on the top 25, but he has not read it yet. So he said, I will read it and give you an update at the next update.
Yep. Exactly. Well, it just released like 2 minutes ago during at 11. So I was already in the middle of my read, and I don't just have the time to go on Twitter and be like, oh, what's the AP top 25 preseason poll right now? I don't have the time. So I just had to let them know I will update them at the next update.
Which
you brought it up.
Which is really an interesting play.
Yeah, so now
respect it. Teased.
Yeah, exactly. It's an hour-long tease. And now if people want to go check it out, it's out there, and they can go find it. Or they can wait for the 12 o'clock Sports Center and hear it from me.
I'll say this. I am interested to hear and see where Wisconsin, if they are ranked, where they're ranked. So you have me hooked. I won't be, because I'm teeing off at noon. I won't be able to, but can you text me that update as you get the update of the update?
So if I may, I guess I'm a little curious. It is out there now.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. So I
have it in front of me.
We can spoil.
Yeah, but do you want to spoil such a great tease? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
I do, actually. I think I do want to spoil a great tease. Well, they're not first.
Georgia?
Georgia, number 1.
Yeah.
Ohio State, 2.
Yeah, everybody is very high on Ohio State right now.
Very high on their defense, too, which is interesting.
Texas, 3. Your first Big Ten team checks in at 4, the Oregon Ducks.
Isn't Ohio State still in the Big Ten?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yes, Ohio State. Thank you for the correction. I was just excited to call Oregon a Big Ten
I'm just wondering.
team.
I know there's a ton of realignment. I didn't know if Ohio State had realigned also.
They moved to the SEC. Alabama, 5. Ole Miss, 6. Another Big Ten team, Penn State, 7.
So that's the first Big Ten team in there is Penn State. Okay.
Notre Dame, 8. Now we're to the first
Big
Big.
team.
Now we're to the first Big Ten team. Michigan, 9, and then Missouri, 10.
Doesn't it feel like Michigan is just in for a big drop? Everything tells 100%. Me they're going to stink. Yeah, everything tells me they're going to drop. Not stink, but they're going to drop off precipitously.
Yeah, so many off-field distractions, too, just throwing on top of the fact that they're losing talent and Jim Harbaugh. It's just not a good recipe.
No, it's not.
Other Big Ten teams, USC checks in at 22. And Iowa checks in at 25. And you know what that means?
No, Scotty.
It means the Badgers are in the others receiving votes category.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm okay with that. This team has to prove a ton, and in the way the season played out last year, I have no problem at all with them not being ranked. It's not where you start; it's where you finish, and the hype and everything else. This is as good of a schedule as we've had. A home schedule here in forever. And go get it. I don't have one problem at all. First off, I think the preseason rankings are really dumb, but they're fun to set kind of that benchmark to where things are. And Wisconsin is obviously not viewed as a great team this year, at least as we sit here. What is it? August 12th, 10th, whatever day it is today. I don't know. 12th?
Today is the 12th. They received 15 votes. 15 votes.
I think it's fascinating. That's one less than Nebraska received. Nebraska got 16 votes, which
Nebraska's
find
always hyped.
Ridiculous.
They love hype in Nebraska. They want it to be the 80s, man. People still want the 80s and 90s, and it's just not. But that'll be a fun game. That'll be one of the fun road games as well as USC. So It's exciting. College football, I think they said this is the last week without college football. We got a little preseason yet, but it's coming. The wave is coming, and I cannot wait for it.
Does that mean it's week 0? I still don't understand. Why
Next
do we do
week is week 0. And then the week Wisconsin plays, which will be 2 Fridays from now, will be, and I think week 0 is that Ireland game or wherever they're playing overseas. Dublin, mate. So it's here, baby. Let's get it rolling. The fellas are back from Platteville. I think they're heading back today or tomorrow. So we're going. We're ready to roll. Let's go.
Great point by Ian in East Troy. Washington is also not ranked, and they played for the chip last year. Fascinating stuff. Only 23 votes. Only 23 votes for Washington.
Wow. Well, new coach, lost half their team, lost a lot of top picks. So, yeah, I get it. It's even, I think, more so than ever, the college football with all of the moving parts, it is so much more year to year. You're still going to have your behemoths that it doesn't matter what happens. They're going to be there. It's going to be the Georgias, Texases, et cetera, et cetera. But it is such a fluid deal. And I think it's going to be, you saw it last year and you hope this is the year. But if you're a Wisconsin or one of the non-top like blue bloods, you just have to catch it 1 or 2 years because other teams are going to be down. And this might be one of those years. I don't necessarily know how stacked. I know Georgia's stacked. Going to always be tough, but it just shows you that the fact that the national champs or the national runner-ups are not even ranked out also, that in the old college football, this wouldn't have happened.
Wow. All right, Tausch, I want to get to something that Aaron Rodgers says in Ian O'Connor's upcoming book. They have put out some snippets, some clips from the book, a preview, if you will, and he is scheduled to appear. Ian O'Connor, not Aaron Rodgers, is scheduled to appear later in the week on our program. But I want to get to that coming up. But before we do that, now that we've got you back, I'm also really struggling with big tech because I went from 5G on my iPhone to 1 bar to SOS. So I have no cellular service.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm a little worried if you lose me. But I'm wondering, is there something wrong with my phone, or what's more likely? My phone has gone kaput, or we have a major outage in Green Bay for all Verizon. Yes, exactly. A CrowdStrike situation, part 2. But Riley asked me a question that I want to get to with you before we get to Rodgers, and then Will Riley, and then I leave you prematurely to go to Matt LaFleur and the coaches. And that is, what did you think about the defense? We really didn't talk, as we took positives and negatives at the beginning of the show, a whole lot about the defense and vanilla schmanilla. I know that Matt LaFleur and Riley brought this up, said that Hafley had a very short call sheet. But the bottom line is I wanted to see the play style. And for me, as I told Riley while you were gone, I saw what I wanted to see. I wanted to see big guys up front getting aggressive and getting up the field. That happened. I wanted to see a defensive back force a turnover. That happened. What about you as you watched the defense, even with a limited playbook and a limited amount of time that the starters spent on the field?
Yeah, I think you just wanted to see what you've been hearing about. You've heard the discussions, whether it's Kenny, Rashawn. It doesn't matter who on the defensive side of the ball, how excited they are. You wanted to see them play that way. And I know it was a limited rep count, and, they didn't have a lot of their preferred starters going. So you can poo-poo it all you want. But the fact that guys were getting up the field and it felt like in the backfield making a bunch of plays, 2 TFLs and a sack for LVN. You saw Devontae Wyatt getting in the backfield and do it. And that was what I was hoping to see. And, the other big thing and the one of the biggest complaints I think all of us heard about Joe Barry was, why are you playing so soft on coverage? You saw, Keyshawn Nixon got beat a couple times on some routes, but I just wanted to see guys get in They're up in their grill, and make the offense make a play. Don't give it to people. If they earn it, great. And I sense that was the direction that we're going. And I think for all of us Packer fans that are hoping for more turnovers and for more aggressive play, I don't think anyone should be discouraged by what they saw. I think that is the goal. That was what Jeff Hafley put out there, and I think the players responded to it. So I was very pleased with what we saw, and I think now, can you build off of it? Can you do it consistently? And do you continue to rotate and find guys that can make those plays? Because if you can, I think all of us are going to be really happy with what we're going to end up seeing as a result of this aggressiveness.
You tend to talk me down when I get a little too excited about some players. I don't know if that'll work on the Grant Dubois, as you like to call him, Smitty Dubois. But should fans be, again, based on a handful? I mean, he played more extensively than some of the other starters did. But should fans be excited about the glimpse they got from Devontae Wyatt, a former first-round pick who has had some flash moments, but not a whole lot of them, having back-to-back plays where he gets quarterback pressures, one leads to a sack for Lucas Van Ness. Is that enough to say, okay, this might really, truly fit his skill set like he's been saying it does? Is there reason to be excited about him, or is it still wait and see?
Well, I think it should still be wait and see, but you wanted to at least see something. And again, if he didn't have a ton of pressure plays, would we be talking about it? I don't think so. But the fact that he did do some things, and the fact that Lucas Van Ness, who I think we all are expecting to have a breakout campaign, you're just starting to see these seedlings kind of start growing out of the dirt. And you're hoping by the end of it, you got some beautiful plants that are going to lead to a championship. And right now you're seeing, the nurturing and the growth that you're hoping for, but it's early. And that doesn't mean there's not going to be some cold spells, or maybe there's going to be a big wet tropical storm type thing that comes through. And can you rebuild it? Those are all of the things that you can deal with, but all you can judge off is what you see. And what we saw the other night was that looks different, man. I think even last year he was aggressive, but I think maybe it was just he had to think a little bit more than you want a defensive guy to think. You want guys just to go. I think we saw that, and I think that is the biggest positive of it. Now, staying healthy and doing it consistently, and what you're asking from a first-round pick is for this guy to be a dog and to be a guy. And he has to prove that over and over. But certainly you could take what you saw Saturday and say, this is a good start.
Yeah, I would agree. And again, I don't know what their offensive line situation was. It looked like they kept most of their offensive line starters out as well that didn't play. So, again, maybe it was just circumstantial. But there's no denying that they need, talk about need it or don't need it, they need Devontae Wyatt to play like a first-round pick. And because I think you saw this during the game, they rotate quickly. And it's almost like a hockey line change with that front four. Like they want to be able to have guys go like a hockey player does really hard for as long as that shift lasts, and then sub them out so they can catch their breath and then go back in. That's going to be the case with Kenny Clark. It's going to be the case with all these guys.
Well, and in fairness, if I see that and I'm the Philadelphia Eagles or some of these other teams, I'm going to think, all right, that's how you want to approach it. We're going to tempo the hell out of you. So that's going to be that interesting battle. And, the beautiful part is I think it's fair to say that depth-wise and at least on the surface, I'm guessing Jeff Hafley's like, man, got a lot of tools to play with. Just like on the receiver side of it, you like, all right, I have to make sure I'm getting guys reps. I got to keep guys engaged. And everybody wants to rush the passer. How you rotate guys and give opportunities is really important from an engagement standpoint of keeping these guys happy, because the happier they are, the harder they're going to play. And that's finding these roles that are going to fit, along with figuring out how teams are going to approach combating that, which I'm going to guess right now, if I'm watching this and I'm hearing what Hafley's saying, we got all these guys, we're going to rotate in like hockey lines. Great. Well, we're going to keep you out there. We're going to tempo the heck out of you, and we're going to see how you hold up. That's the fun part of this.
The other fun part of it is you're at a golf outing today to support the Boys and Girls Club up in Door County. I'm guessing there might be one, or maybe last night there was 1 or 2 Coors Lights enjoyed during this trip.
I did have a great Coors Light last night. I got to head back tonight, so I'm not 100% sure. I do have a driver, so we shall see. But
what?
The Coors Lights, it's my wife. She could drive.
Oh, okay.
That's the case, too. So Coors Light brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it's cold packaged, so it's made to chill in those mountains. You make sure they're blue. That's when you know those cans or bottles are chilled to perfection. That's why there's always Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company. Golden, Colorado.
Yeah, that was back when we had that cat who needed the major surgery, and you were going to have me be your driver/butler, and you were going to call me Jeeves all the time. Good to know that you don't have a real driver, that you just have your wonderful wife. All right. I do want to get to this. I know we don't talk about him very often. But this new book is coming out, an unauthorized biography. But Rodgers sat down with Ian O'Connor with lengthy interviews. His family talked to Ian O'Connor, but he talks about immunized. We'll talk about it next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some... Why are you throwing... I don't want...
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, I'm Jeff Levering alongside Gina Della from Pella.
Thanks, Jeff. How do you say welcome?
With a new entry door from Pella.
Say it with color.
Like baseball bat oak or foul pole yellow?
Say it with class.
Like following players' unwritten baseball rules.
With clarity.
Like a no-doubter shot off the scoreboard.
And with this great deal, 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments.
That's the ball game. A Pella walk-off.
Schedule your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See 31/2024.
Looking for that ultimate game day hangout during football season? Welcome to Magoo's on the Mound. Now open at 11 a.m. Tuesday through Sunday. With 13 TVs, you won't miss a moment of the action. Enjoy our free 100-square pool with amazing prizes and a complimentary halftime buffet. Plus, we've got great drink specials to keep you cheering. And don't forget, we offer shuttles to and from all Milwaukee baseball games. Magoo's on the Mound, where green and gold fans gather and where every game day is a win.
ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel. I've spent a while telling you about Mentality because it works. Not just for me, though. Take it from fellow Mentality user Jason. He's got a new lease on life thanks to Mentality.
Process was easy. It really, truly was. And the individuals that work at Mentality, very helpful, very respectful. It was an easy out. You go in a week after, they give you the results right away. And once you find that you're able to do it, just that thought, the energy already picked up a little bit. Most of it could have been mentally wise, but knowing that, hey, I get to start this, it was incredible.
Learn more today at LowTUSA.com.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Aaron Goldhammer.
I'll tell you 2 things, though, that really impressed me. They had a holding penalty, like, right off the bat. And I was like, uh-oh. I'm interested to see how he responds to this, because it's a little bit of adversity, and when you're an NFL quarterback, sometimes you have to deal with 2nd and 17. And Caleb Williams did, and I thought that was impressive. I thought he also, more so than no-look passes and comparisons to Patrick Mahomes, I thought the ball where he hit DJ Moore on 3rd and 12 to move the chains was a great throw, and I thought the one running to his right great. Those plays are world-class quarterback plays. So I think it just goes to show all Bears fans, I don't know that there are any guarantees about this guy being your first franchise quarterback since Sid Luckman. But I think what we all knew was there in terms of raw talent is actually playing out at the NFL level. It was a great start. He did nothing to slow down the hype train.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
The headline on ESPN.com. Aaron Rodgers says he regrets 2021 comment that he was, quote, immunized. Tausch, I guess.
Did they say anything about a reporter not following up, or is that not part of it?
No, there was no mention of that. Again, I mean, maybe it is in the book, not in the summary of this. But again, for those that don't listen every day, and we have not talked about Aaron Rodgers in a long time, when we used to talk about him seemingly every day. But when he made that comment in response to Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette asking him if he was vaccinated, and he said, I was immunized. As I have said many times, having done the radio show with him for 4 years, knowing how he is about words, I knew that he chose that word for a reason, instantly. Now, in one of my biggest regrets of my career, I allowed my relationship with him to affect how I did my job, which I don't think happened very often, but I have no problem owning it in that instance. So what I did, instead of saying what I should have said, which was, I'm sorry, Aaron, you always choose your words carefully. Why would you say immunized when Ryan asked you if you were vaccinated?
Well, that'd been a great follow-up.
It would have been, yeah. It's the follow-up that should have been asked. Mm-hmm. And what I tried to do instead, and I have since told him this because I was really pissed about the way he handled the Joe Rogan interview, and he made it sound like he didn't say me by name in that instance either, but made it sound like I was trying to ask him a gotcha question with my follow-up. And instead, if you go back and listen, I used the word vaccinated like 3 times in my question. I'm talking about how Kirk Cousins has said he's not getting vaccinated, but he's going to be in like a hermetically sealed box in quarterback meetings. And I used the word vaccinated over and over again because I was hoping he would clarify, hey, I didn't say vaccinated, I said immunized. Let me explain. And that is not his fault, that is mine. I should have just asked the question the way I just told you I should have. So I own that, I wear that. So I've seen a couple of people send me this story saying, well, maybe, it looks like you're getting an apology. No. Here's the quote from the book. If there's one thing I wish could have gone different, it's that, meaning the immunized quote, because that's the only thing critics could hit me with. So basically, he regrets it not because it was misleading, but because it gave his critics ammunition.
Wow.
He goes on to explain that it was the crux of his appeal that he had gotten a homeopathic immunization protocol from his doctor. I don't know if it was Dr. Tor Lechner from the Seinfeld episode or what. But he claims that he was allergic to polyethylene glycol, which was in a couple of the different vaccines. Again, this is not a vaccination show, but here's the quote. But if I could do it again, I would have said blank that appeal. I'm just going to tell them that I'm allergic to PEG. I'm not getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. I'm not going to be vaxxed, Rodgers says in the book. Now, again, for me, that's personal because I was the one who asked the follow-up question, Tausch. I'm not all that interested in relitigating that at all. What I am interested in is in a couple of other clips or previews of the book, blurbs, if you will, including, and again, Ian's going to be on the show coming up in a few days, but the estrangement between him and his family, the story of his grandfather, who was a World War II pilot, who he would talk about fairly regularly. And here are the other two that are highlighted in the ESPN story that I'm curious what you think of. First, why Rodgers was upset by Packers coach Mike McCarthy during his most devastating defeat, the 2014 NFC Championship game collapse at Seattle. Rodgers wanted to call 6 plays he had seen on film that seemed indefensible when Dallas beat the Seahawks in the regular season. One veteran Packers player said Rodgers wanted those plays called over and over against Seattle, and McCarthy called only a few of them one time each. Tausch, second-guessing your coach 10 years after the game. Your thoughts?
He's a complicated.
Well, I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't think it was 10 years. I'm guessing the flight back and the devastation of that loss lingered, and I'm sure the relationship never was probably the same after that, and that happens when you have gut punches like that game. So. Listen, we all know Aaron is strong-willed. He has opinions, and I think he views himself as being right more often than not. I don't know if that's the nicest way I could say that, but that's where he's at, and he's earned the right to have his opinion. That doesn't mean it's always right. So when you factor all this in, I think it's going to be a fascinating read. I think the, combination of talking about his family and having his family sit down with Ian will be really interesting. And yeah, that loss stained, as you put it many times, that's a legacy killer because Mike McCarthy is a 2-time Super Bowl champ. He's a Hall of Famer. Ted Thompson, same thing. Aaron is looked at differently if he's got 2. He's still going to be a lightning rod for criticism because I think he brings that on. That's just, I think he likes that. But it's a whole different animal when you start talking about 2 championships compared to 1. And as we've seen over the last 13 or 14 years with this team putting itself in position to win year after year, not getting that one when you had everything kind of lined up, it's one of those pains that just won't leave. It dulls as time elapses, but obviously Aaron's still – and he should. Everybody that was on that team is going to feel that kind of way because you knew you were a better team and you played better, but you didn't close up shop. And there's a lot of blame that goes around on it, but a lot of it always comes back to the head football coach.
Speaking of the head football coach, last thing from the blurbs from the advanced copy of this book. Ex-San Francisco 49ers coach Mike Nolan, who drafted Alex Smith instead of Rodgers with the first overall pick in 2005, is, quote, still bothered that his offensive coordinator, McCarthy, benefited most from that decision. McCarthy had a lot to do with picking the other guy, Smith, and in the end, he got the one, Rodgers, that he didn't pick, and it elevated his career, Nolan says in the book. What?
What a loser's mentality that is.
Is it? I mean, really?
Like, I hope he's not direct quoted with that, because I don't know if he's coaching in this league anymore. There is nothing. So I've always thought one of the lamest things I've heard is Bill Polian saying he would have drafted Tom Brady in the first round if he didn't have Peyton Manning, or something to that effect, that he had him graded as a first round pick. Well, come on. Everybody does that. But this, you're the head football coach. They're going to take input from the offensive coordinator, but it's your job to give your input to the GM too, and to act as petty. It just shows you that coaches and players, we all think that there's this different human nature side, and there is in a competitive, like crazy competitiveness streak. But when it comes to personal feelings and pettiness and jealousy and all of the other stuff that we think sometimes athletes are immune from, that right there. And again, I want to make sure that quote is directly from Mike Nolan.
There are quote marks around it, sir.
If it is, that is one of the saddest things I've ever heard a football coach say. And that you're pissed that somebody else benefited from a decision that it wasn't Mike McCarthy saying, we're drafting this guy. I don't care how you go through it. You're going to take input from all of your coaches and a coordinator. But you're the head. You talk about the opposite of Truman and up. That is, I don't know who the exact opposite of Truman is, but Mike Nolan would be in that category.
Mike Nolan is still coaching. He is the reigning UFL.
Awesome. The Jets quality assistant would be really good.
He is the reigning UFL coach of the year after leading the Michigan Panthers to a 7-3 record last season.
Kudos to him. Didn't he coach with Mike down in Dallas, and then their defense stunk and they fired him?
I believe so. The Panthers blew an 18-3 halftime lead and lost to the Birmingham Stallions in the conference championship this spring. So, he was the defensive coordinator for one season. He lasted 368 days as the defensive coordinator after the Cowboys went 6-10 during the 2020 season.
So Mike Nolan was so irritated and pissed that Mike McCarthy benefited from that decision
that he took a job from him.
Take a defensive coordinator job from him. That tells you everything you need to know about Mike Nolan. Everything.
That and the fact that the Cowboys gave up a franchise record 473 points. So maybe he was just wicked clever, and he was trying to get Mike McCarthy fired to get back at him.
Saboteur. He came in as a saboteur.
That's exactly where I was going.
He gets inside there to saboteur Mike McCarthy, but he ended up sabotaging himself.
Very, very, very frustrating.
All right.
Why would Mike Nolan put those quotes out there until he's writing his own book? What on earth is he doing?
Yeah, that's a good question. We'll ask Ian O'Connor that when he joins us. All right, I need to get ready to go to the press conferences. Tausch, you need to tell us about AmFam before we get to Will Riley.
Indeed, to Packer fans, Dream Drive is back. Come on down to Lambeau Field to kick off another year of big smiles in less than a mile, starting July 22nd and going all the way through camp, which is starting to wind down. Little Packer fans can ride between Lambeau and training camp with their own bike or on one from the American Family Insurance fleet, right alongside your favorite coaches and players of the Pack. American Family Insurance continues to support this heartwarming event, mobilizing the community to realize their dreams as they ride safe and protected. Join American Family Insurance for another historic year as we keep the tradition moving. Grab your wheels and let's ride Green Bay. Dream fearlessly, insure carefully.
Will Riley is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
grab a Coke and grab some cash with a Coca-Cola Summer Cash Grab, only from Quick Trip. Play daily in your Quick Rewards app for a chance to win up to $250,000. Earn extra chances to enter by purchasing any qualified Coke, Monster Energy, Powerade, Body Armor, Smart Water, or Core Power Elite products with Quick Rewards. Summer just got a whole lot cooler with Quick Trip and Coca-Cola. No purchase necessary. See QuickTrip.com/sweepstakes for details.
Pain from arthritis is just awful. Bone on bone, constant pain. It robs you of so much of the things that you love to do. But there are effective ways to deal with that pain. I'm not talking about drugs or surgery. Hey, this is Brad Nortman. There are new cellular therapies that can get you lasting relief. The place to go? QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your body's own healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. If you're living with chronic pain from arthritis or injury, you need to know that steroids and surgeries and pain pills are no longer your only option. Learn how QC Kinetics can use advanced regenerative medicine to treat the pain, enhance your joints, restore mobility, and give you long-term relief with no downtime. QC Kinetics is ready to help you get your life back. This is the future of medicine. Call for a free consultation. 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
Save big money on pressure-treated lumber for your outdoor project at Menards. Menards has the best in-stock selection of AC2 pressure-treated lumber, decking, and fencing. All easy to load in our drive-through lumber yard. Choose from our huge inventory and build your project to last. Plus, you can get free estimates fast with our fence and deck design programs in-store or online at menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at Right Choice Tax Resolution. The IRS has you in their crosshairs. We know how to deal with the IRS and solve your situation. Just the other week, we successfully removed the target on a client who had been audited and was told he owed the IRS. We fought the notice and got him a refund instead. We also were successful with another client to get $94,000 of penalties removed. This is why we started Right Choice Tax Resolution, to help people fight the IRS and state. You don't know the ins and outs of taxes or the more than 20 penalties they can impose on you. We don't judge you. We just want to help so your bank account doesn't get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security get cut in half from garnishments, or a lien put on your house or that house you want to buy. Get rid of that stress and get back to enjoying life. Go to rightchoicetax.us right now to book a meeting. We get you may be embarrassed or angry. The situation won't go away if you do nothing. That's rightchoicetax.us.
Frank Daniels, our Madison Goldsmith, has an idea.
Bring him in.
Hey, Rick. Hey, Sarah. Hi, Monica.
It's great to see you, Frank. What's your idea?
It's a new company policy.
Let's hear it.
You know the world-famous Kessler's warranty?
If you bought it at Kessler's, it's guaranteed. It's just that simple. Even if you lose a diamond, including the center stone, we'll replace it. All maintenance is free forever. Yes, it really is that miraculous.
Every time I hear that warranty, it blows my mind.
I propose we have a jewelry cleaning policy that's as amazing as that warranty.
What would it say?
Bring us your jewelry and we will professionally clean it. While you wait, for free. You can come in as often as you want, and we don't care where you bought your jewelry. The only thing that matters is that you want it to look amazing again. We want that too.
I vote yes.
I vote yes. I vote yes. The motion carries.
Congratulations, Frank. Your idea is now company policy.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Matt LaFleur is going to talk in about 5 minutes, so I'm going to get down to the media auditorium for that, and then Adam Stenovich and the offensive coaching staff follows. So I'll stick around for the first question of Will Riley.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I got to stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
Alrighty, guys. First question for you before Jason has to leave. So, as I mentioned earlier, this past Saturday, I was kind of doing double duty, watching the Packers preseason game and watching the United States men's team defeat France to take the gold medal match. I was at a bar on State Street, and when Steph Curry hit those 4 threes in that minute and a half span, the place was just going bonkers. It was so fun being at the bar, kind of having that camaraderie, watching a sporting event together. I've had that experience with Badger games, Packer games, and Brewers games before as well. So I want to ask you guys, what is the best place to watch a sporting event? I'm sure you've had this question before, but if you had to choose, are you going with your house, going with a bar, the venue itself? Are you at the game? Where do you want to be if you're watching a sporting event?
Yeah,
Press box.
Where? The juice box?
Press box.
Clever.
No, I think there's watching it at a bar. I remember watching the Diamondbacks Brewers series right after I got done playing. I had finished a round of golf, and we went to a local watering hole and watching, I think it was Morgan. What was his nickname?
Niger Morgan.
Yep, Tony Plush.
That whole thing unfold, and just being in the bar with everybody and everybody going crazy was so cool. I had not, I'd been playing for a long time, obviously, but I still think there's nothing better. I prefer watching games at the house because I want to be comfortable and chill, but there's just nothing like being in the stadium and feeling all that energy. That's the best. So if I'm picking energy, bring me big energy. You can find it at bars. You can find it at your house if you have people over. But, man, there's just nothing like in the moment, live. If you can stay off your phone and actually watch it and embrace it, I don't think there's anything better than just being live at that actual sporting event.
All right, press box or my basements. Those are my answers. I'm off to Matt LaFleur. You guys take it home, boys. Take care.
All righty. Have a great day, Jason. And there he goes. He's still on, technically. And now he is officially gone. I'm going to have to switch the camera after the fact. We're going to stare at a still image of Jason's face the rest of the segment. Okay, Tausch, just you now. So, I don't know if you tuned into Sunday Karma this past Sunday, yesterday, I guess, but Good Karma brand CEO Craig Karmazin had some very interesting things to say about the Brewers. He was very bullish on them, and he said that it's a fluke, quote unquote, that the Brewers haven't made the World Series yet. What are your thoughts on that statement? Do you agree with Craig that it is a fluke that the Brewers haven't made a World Series yet?
No, I know it's never great business to disagree with your CEO, but I don't fully understand. They've only been, from an NLCS standpoint, I was at Game 7 against the Dodgers. And there was nothing fluky about that game. Like, the Dodgers hit the heck out of it and put up a bunch, I think, in the 6th inning.
Yep.
As far as, you're in position as many times as they've been, but I think this is always one of the things that a small market team is up against, is your mentality that you can get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the year they traded Josh Hader was the year where things imploded.
Yep.
You have such a small window to actually do it. And now with having to win play-in games or winning series, they've had a couple of opportunities that they've fallen short on. But to say it's a fluke that they haven't won, I think that's a bit strong. I think it's disappointing, but is there the fluky thing? If you wanted to look at flukes, you could look back and say, okay, losing at home with your Green Bay against Tampa, or losing against Seattle when you're up big.
Yep.
Those things fell the wrong way. I don't think there's a play where you could look at it and say, if this one play went differently, the Brewers would be World Series champs. Show me that play. Show me the series of plays.
Yeah.
And I'd be more open to maybe agreeing with it.
See, so what he brought up is, and he didn't say the Brewers winning a World Series, he said the Brewers getting to a World Series. Just getting there.
Okay, well, that's different.
Yep.
Okay.
And he brought up It was the wild card game against the Padres. Josh Hader came in, had been shut down all year. And then you have that broken bat single, and then the base hit to Trent Grisham where he just lets it go under his glove. And the Brewers implode after that. The Padres go on, I believe, to the NLCS that year. They didn't make the World Series. But then you have the Washington Nationals game there. Can't remember if there were any fluky plays, but that Game 7 against the Dodgers, I remember Chris Taylor made that absurd backwards sliding catch kind of over the shoulder.
It was a great play.
Onto the warning track. I don't know if you could call that fluky, but that's a really, really tough play that not every outfielder makes.
Is it bad luck? I guess if you want to misconstrue bad luck with fluky, I could get on board.
What's the difference in your mind between bad luck and fluky?
Fluky is like, oh gosh, that's, it's just really unfortunate. I guess you're kind of mincing words, but I just don't look, again, I can't think back to if this one thing happened, the Brewers would now, again, I thought it was win the World Series.
Okay.
To be in a World Series, the Dodgers series, the kid made a great play, but you still gave up a ton of runs, and it's just, you're always going to be up against it. I think in any sport to win it, I don't care if you have the biggest payroll, things still have to go your way. And I think the Brewers.
Tausch? Oh, there you go. Still there, Tausch?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. You just cut out for a second.
I'm here.
Yep. Just making sure because I can't see you. But anyways, last question for you now. Understand what you're saying on the Brewers. Hopefully this is the year. I think they got a shot this year. But last question for you. On Friday, me and my buddy went to the Wisconsin State Fair. Went and watched one of my favorite bands, Gaelic Storm, live. They're fantastic, an Irish folk band. Amazing live and in concert. Would highly recommend going to see them. But Tausch, when you're going to the State Fair, County Fair, any fair, what is the first thing that you're doing when you get there? Going to get a funnel cake? Going to check out the animals? What are you doing?
I'm an animal guy.
Okay.
I'm an animal guy. I don't know if you know this,
Whoa.
I showed a steer at the Wood County Fair. If I was really on it and set up at the office or something, I'd get you that picture. You could post it.
Could put it on.
But that was something that I did, and I'm a big fan of swine. I think that I just saw a champion pig. I don't know how heavy it was. It was like 1,500-pound pig.
How much did it go for?
I'm fascinated by animals. That I don't remember. I don't remember how much the pig weighed. I just remember it was a big old pig.
That's a hefty sow.
The animals are what makes the fair. I think otherwise you're just looking at an amusement park. If you're just going for the Ferris wheel or the Gravitron, the reason it's called a county fair or a state fair is because there's animals there.
Yep.
That is the descriptor or the deciding factor on what makes a fair. So that's where I'm going.
Okay. I actually had to explain that. My buddy was from Chicago, so he's never been to a fair in his life. And I had to explain to him that exact point, that the animals are the reason this exists. And because we were walking by I believe it was the dairy barn, and he wasn't a fan of the smell, not used to it, from Chicago. And that was just, it was fascinating to me that he had never heard of a fair, never been to a fair, and didn't know why the fair exists. I actually was fortunate enough back at the Rock County 4-H fair to help my friend show his goats. So I understand where you're coming from. It's pretty fun. You and my dad would probably get along. He showed pigs as a kid as well back for the Milton 4-H crew there. But good to know animals, where you're going. And as the music wraps up, that is all I have for you, Tausch.
What's the food? What is the food choice that you had to get at everybody goes cream puff, right? Is that what you did, or did you go outside the box?
No, I went for the first time to the State Fair last year, and they have 2 food trucks called Wisconsin Hot Cheese. I go for the mozzarella sticks every year, $12. You get like 8 mozzarella sticks. They're so good. Best fried cheese I have ever had. Would highly recommend. Got to go to the Wisconsin Hot Cheese truck.
All right, hot cheese trucks and Irish Gaelic bands.
Yep.
That's what you're going to get when you see Riley at the State Fair. Wildy and Tausch, Jason down with Matt LaFleur. We've talked a bunch of stuff today, the positives and negatives of it. We'll hear if Matt LaFleur has anything super interesting to say before we wrap up today's episode of Wilde and Tausch. We'll be back in 4.5 minutes to close up the show.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
I had nightmares at my birth mom's house. It was really scary living there. There were always drugs in the house. The police came, and that's when I was placed into foster care.
Right now in the U.S., more than 100,000 children, like Ariana, are waiting for a family.
Once I was adopted, I definitely felt safe.
Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find permanent homes for children in foster care. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
An epic Brewers homestand kicks off August 9th, featuring a division duel against the Reds. First place battles with the Dodgers and Guardians, plus 3 giveaway games. Find the game for you at brewers.com/tickets.
There's lots to see and do at the Dodge County Fair. Fun for me and you. There's good times in the air. The thrill of the midway, the smell of the food, rides and games and animals too. Entertainment every night. It's gonna make you feel just right.
The Dodge County Fair is 5 days and nights of fun, August 14th through the 18th. The 5 nightly main events starts with the Badger State Tractor Pulls on Wednesday, Tracy Bird on Thursday, Matt Stell on Friday, Grand Funk Railroad on Saturday, and the Demo Derbies on Sunday. Get your season tickets in advance for $35 at the fair office. Fox Brothers Piggly Wiggly and Beaver Dam Food Pride, Leroy Meats, most Dodge County banks, and at DodgeCountyFairgrounds.com.
So come on, everyone, to the Dodge County Fair.
I'm Ben Jewick with Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors. The crew is winning ball games here in Milwaukee and around the country. Our team stands ready to help your organization win across North America. Powered by Coakley Connect, our revolutionary facilities management platform, the Coakley crew supports clients across the country manage their real estate portfolio, offering facility-focused products and services, interior design, construction, new furniture, installation, and move management. We'll help you create and manage interior environments that drive your teams forward. Visit CoakleyBrothers.com and hit a home run.
Michael Quizon is the IT Systems Administrator at Great Midwest Bank. Before switching to document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems, they had a printer problem.
We talked to James Imaging. We said, we need to take down the number of printers that we have. What can we do?
The experts at James Imaging Systems researched your printing process, overall workflow, costs, supplies.
So we went from probably 120, 130 printers down to 50 some odd printers.
And
our cost from supplies perspective went down. I mean, we're talking about thousands in a year. So we saved a lot of money by bringing James Imaging on.
Michael, the benefit as the bank's IT Systems Administrator?
I don't have to deal with printers. One less thing on my plate.
Anything to add about your experience?
In terms of James Imaging, they've been a great partner.
Switch to document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee. You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
The scurrying, the worrying, I'm gonna have some fun.
What is this? The State Fair with Riley Yauk?
Yeah, it is.
That's
Gaelic
I'm
Storm.
assuming that's the Irish Gaelic band that you're referencing to. So I'm getting ready to head out to go play a little golf up here in Door County at the Boys and Girls Club outing. Jason is down at Matt LaFleur's presser. So any injury updates from Matt LaFleur down there with the press guys, Riley?
Yes, actually. Matt LaFleur said he is uncertain if Jordan Morgan, Edgerrin Cooper, and Tyron Hopper will return to practice this week. Quote, unquote, we'll see where they're at, he said. So
well, we shall see where they're at. And again, this week is going to be, all about the kicking competition, where that thing is headed. And Jordan Love's not going to play on Sunday. When you come out as clear as you did after the game. So I think all in all, for the first week, I think all Packer fans, in summing up what our positives and negatives were today, this team's going to be a Super Bowl contender, hopefully a champion. But the defense, you saw the signs of it. You saw the budding. And offensively, it could not have went better. So now you're heading out to Denver. You're going to try and reboot that and get some more good work in, as we're only 25 days away from when the Green Bay Packers head down to Sao Paulo to play the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
We'll hear more on that tomorrow. We'll get into all of the stuff Matt LaFleur had to say today. We'll get into the Aaron Rodgers book. And I don't know what else we're going to get into, but Riley, we appreciate you stepping into the breach.
Of course.
For the last couple days. You've done a fantastic job as usual. Jesse may or may not be back tomorrow. We will be. Jason and I will be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thanks again for joining us for the ride. And as Jason said, I'm just going to say, be good. We'll see you tomorrow.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, I'm Jeff Levering alongside Gina Della from Pella.
Thanks, Jeff. How do you say welcome?
With a new entry door from Pella.
Say it with color.
Like baseball bat oak or foul pole yellow?
Say it with class.
Like following players' unwritten baseball rules.
With clarity.
Like a no-doubter shot off the scoreboard.
And with this great deal, 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down in equal payments.
That's the ball game. A Pella walk-off.
Schedule your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See 31/2024.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Well, now is the time to beat the heat with a refreshing new shower or bath from Kohler Services. A family-owned business for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get 0 interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. As the holdout continues for CeeDee Lamb, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones sent a message to his star receiver before the preseason opener. He said on yesterday's pregame show, CeeDee, you're missed. Jones also clarified last week's comment that he had no urgency to sign Lamb to a contract extension. He explained it was because Lamb wouldn't play in the preseason anyway. The sides have been in discussions on a deal that would make Lamb among the highest-paid receivers in the NFL. Raiders coach Antonio Pierce says he plans to announce his starting quarterback after the next exhibition game, Saturday versus Dallas. Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew are competing for that job. Baseball, Red Sox outfielder Jarren Duran apologized for directing an anti-gay slur toward a fan during yesterday's loss to the Astros. The Red Sox said they addressed the issue with Duran immediately after the game.
From the ESPN studios at Pier 17 in the Seaport District of New York City, this is Greeny with Mike Greenberg on ESPN Radio. You can also listen and watch the show on the ESPN app.
Oh, what a weekend. Greeny back and better than ever. That was extraordinary. I don't even know where to begin. Well, I do know where we're going to begin because Graziano has been good enough to hang out after we wrap up, get up, and so we're going to go through all of the preseason football of the weekend, which was fascinating. But the Olympics was incredible. We have time to get there. Let's go.
Here we go! Only one place to start.
I understand the angst, and someone says anything about whether you're missed or not. Well, CD, you're missed.
These are all things that the Cowboys could have avoided, but the priority for Jerry Jones is creating a circus.
Well, I mean, that does certainly seem